Check one, two. Check one, two. What it do? What it do? What it do? Y'all know what time it is, man. Y'all know what day it is, man. Y'all know what's going down. Now it is pouring down a little bit of rain. If you hear a little background noise, that's just some rain beating down on my little hut here in East Africa. My little house that I'm in. Um, it should calm down. Hopefully, it doesn't blow out the lights. I am Jeffrey. Just popped on. Hopefully, it doesn't put out the lights, but it's raining a little bit. So if you're gonna hear a little background, hear a little background rain, but it's subsiding. It's subsiding, and we're about to
Say,
get
Doc,
into
I
it
can
today.
barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Barely.
Okay, I hear you loud and clear. Let me see,
Yeah, you like real low.
real low.
Yeah.
Okay, do me a favor. Hold on real quick. Log on to my YouTube real quick and tell
Wait,
me how
come.
I sound on your end.
Come again.
I'm talking to my wife here. I'm gonna have her
Oh,
log on to YouTube real quick and
okay.
give me a mic check before we get started here. But we live, y'all. It's the Too Much Moxie podcast, and we got our special guest, the Guru Jeffrey I am, and it is about to go down. We about to pick his brain, man. We about to pick his brain. Oh, I sound good on. Okay, so I think it's just your phone. Um, I'm sounding clear on YouTube right now, and I'm sounding
Okay.
clear on my headphones.
Okay, cool.
So hopefully you can hear me enough to where we can have a conversation.
Yeah, I'm
Hopefully,
not sure like what's going on. Yeah, I could barely hear you. Let me
like
see.
barely. Why don't you
Uh,
try to? Are you're on your phone, right? Or you on your
yeah.
phone or your laptop? Okay, do me a favor. Why don't you try to log off and jump back in?
Okay, I'll jump off and jump back on.
Okay, for sure, for
Uh,
sure. All right, all right, all right. So let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it while we wait for our guest, our Tantra guru, to come back on. Um, yeah, it's going down. I'm gonna put these shades on, y'all, because this light, man, it's just be on your boy, man. Much better. But the lighting's good. The rain has subsided, and we about to get into it, man. It is Tantra Talk Thursday. Y'all don't want to miss this, man, because we're talking about unleashing the masculine energy. A lot of y'all didn't know that Tantra is all about masculine and feminine energy. And we want the men to be men, and we want the women to be women. Okay? Your femininity is let me tell you something, ladies. Your femininity will open doors for you. Your femininity will get you all the protection you need. Your femininity and your class will get you where you want to be. All right, our hostess jumped, our special guest to jump back on. How you hear me now? We good?
oh yeah, we good.
Okay, perfect. That's all we need to do. So I got something queued up real quick, man. I'm gonna I'm gonna bring it up here. Y'all see where we at. Now, this is for fair use. I don't know if they're gonna hit me with some copyright strikes, but we're gonna try to uh play this video. It's about 15 minutes. We're gonna stop it and do some commentation during between it, and have our tantra guru here with us, Jeffrey I am, to kind of interpret and explain to us what we're about to watch. But this one is about tantra and sex. Is tantra really all about sex? Matter of fact, why don't you answer that? Is tantra all about sex? I mean, what is it about? Before the video is going to go into it, but but I already know you. I already know what you're going to say. So my question is Tantra all about the deep stroke? Is it all about putting it down in the bedroom? What is Tantra really about? What's it really for? Is it a cult? Is it mysticism? What is it?
Tantra is about transmuting sexual energy to achieve your highest nature. So
Mm,
the only thing that's sexual about Tantra is the energy itself. That can be used to, in manifestation. It can be used in your connection to the higher self, in your connection to God, your connection to the all. almighty oneness that we, that we all strive, well, that we should be striving to, connect with and be a part of. And so
Okay.
Tantra is a way of life. The heightened sexual abilities is is the benefit of Tantra, because when you are functioning in your divine masculine and women and their divine feminine, and you tap into your godlike nature. And so
Mm.
the the way that we're controlled in this society is through suppression of sex, or suppression of sexual energy, or perversion of sexual energy. That's how they utilize that to control us. And when you look at like some of the forefathers in the space, even here in the United States, a brother by the name of Wilhelm Reich. He started the when you talk about, they utilize his writings to launch the sexual revolution back in the late what is it, in the 60s, which
So that's when all
then,
that free love was going on.
yeah, I mean, the free love version of that was the government's way to make it something other than what it was. It was a way to make it seem like it was. I mean, that's just like talking about, when we talk about the Black Panthers. All they were doing was self-help programs, but they labeled it, a militant society. You know what I'm
The
saying?
same self-help program that they use today in our government.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the Black Panthers started the same self-help programs
hmm
that
And,
we
and,
use today in our government.
and so the propaganda that they use to, divide the Black community and turn against the Panthers is the same thing that they use for, when they talk about the sexual revolution and their free love and this and that. They made it seem like, oh, these a bunch of spaced out hippies getting
So it
high.
wasn't
And
about LSD and pot and all that stuff that they made to be free love, all
yeah,
that stuff. It
yeah,
was
yeah. I mean,
different.
they lost, they the media only portrayed the negative aspects of whatever it was, or enhanced that, and then they took away from the, because what they found was from dealing with Wilhelm Reich's readings, or his writings, is that the suppression of sexual energy and suppression of sex through religion, through government policies, through just socialization and whatnot, it was the way that you can control people. When you control their, when you inhibit their sexual desires, or make them feel shameful about sex, or make sex about, something dirty, or that sexual energy. When you have all these people walking around all bottled up, that, when you really look at the grand scheme of things, while so many people are sick nowadays, 9 times out of 10, it's attached to the suppression of their sexual nature, that
Mm,
which comes natural to them. And
mm,
because people are, are bound up in all these, these the shamefulness and walls, and blocking each other off. Now you add in COVID, people can't scared to walk within 6 feet of each other. Man,
mm.
it's crazy. And so, yeah. So when we talk about Tantra, Tantra is not a thing that you do; it's something that you are. Tantra is something. Tantra is a way of life, a way of existing in the world where you're in tune with your full divine nature, and you take that sexual energy, which is the base primal energy that everybody has, and you move that, and you raise that from your sacral region, your genital regions, and you sublimate that up your chakras into your crown, and then you attach to the Most High. And
Mm.
so, a benefit to that is it heightens your sexual abilities a thousandfold. So
Okay.
the thing is, when it was brought here to the United States, the people's limited understanding, only thing they saw was, oh man, I could have sex, you know, like a god from this, and that's all they focused on. So that's why you hear a lot of people first thing they, when I mentioned like, yeah, I'm a tantra therapist. Oh, you do Kama Sutra? You out, sexing your client? Like, no, I don't. I don't want somebody to,
Sprinkle me, man.
yeah,
You out there
yeah.
giving
So,
orgasms to women, to wives, to lonely
oh,
wives,
yeah,
man. That what you doing
yeah,
with Tantra,
man.
man? You
Huh?
getting them lonely wives, them orgasms they ain't getting at home. Is that what
Yeah.
you try to
Well, the
do?
thing is, through the table work sessions that I do, that we do within our organization, within Grand Trine, it's whenever a woman, or it works on both sides. We have women practitioners and male practitioners and whatnot. And so for the, we all deal with opposite sexes because of the the masculine, the
So,
male,
so
masculine.
men don't work with men and women don't work with women. Men work with
Uh,
women and women work with men.
you can, but there's some things that like, or at least for men, like women, it's common for women to work on women because women are more balanced than men are in general.
Okay.
But from a masculine energy standpoint, um, there are individuals that do it, but it does have an effect on men long term because there's a portion of that masculine energy. In order to do the work as a man, you have to fully be in your masculine space. And so, for a man to work on another man, it causes some conflict
Oh
energetically.
yeah, I would think so because I would feel uncomfortable. You know, I'm uncomfortable with men massagers. You know, I got to have a woman massager. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm uncomfortable with men just touching, touching my body. You know, I don't
Right.
want that. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want that. That's
And
not
so,
going to do nothing for me.
yeah. So, in order for a man to work on another man, one of the men has to be in his complete feminine, like pretty much shut down his whole masculine space in order because tantra works in a works on based on polarity, so masculine
Okay.
feminine energy. So
Okay.
to the degree that like say for instance, like when I have women that come to me that are masculine because they've been trained to be that way, they've been brought up that way, society has put them in that position. Me being in my full masculine state taps into their feminine nature because a lot of times they're coming to me because they have issues because they've been operating in their masculine space and they shut down their femininity. And
Mm,
so having a man that's fully masculine taps into and brings that femininity out in
bring that femininity out,
it's
right?
because it's a polarity type of therapy. Now,
So
when you
how
talk
do
about like
men?
Reiki and
So
stuff
how are
like
we
that, it
unleashing
doesn't
the
matter so much.
masculinity? How are we unleashing the masculinity? How do we do it? How do the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who, who? Let's just call him. He's in bitch mode. How do we get him back to come back and harness that? How do we get men to start harnessing their masculine energy so the women that they come in contact with can feel safe enough to be feminine and not masculine? How do we do that?
Shoot, the book tells it all. Awakening the master masculine. That's
How do we awaken it? How do we awaken the master masculine? Give us like a little tidbit, a
you
little.
got to bring on your archetypes. There's four main archetypes that Master Yao speaks about in the Awakening the Master Masculine, and so that's your eagle. That is your hunter, your eagle, your hunter, your warrior, and your healer energy. And these are all energies that need to be in place in order for you to fully function as a man at a God level,
So
or
we're
just
all four.
on a man level, period. But then,
Are we all four archetypes?
hmm?
Are we all four, or are we just one? Are we all four
Shoot, a
archetypes,
lot
or are
of
we
us
just
ain't.
one?
A lot of modern day men aren't in it.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean the
Keep
thing
it
is,
100 with us, man.
hmm?
Keep it 100 with us. That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I
about,
mean
man.
that's the problem because
Mm.
when you look at like I mean the thing is on at best on average, most of us come into you know after our teenage years, move into our manhood with one maybe two on deck, but rarely all four. The thing is, most of us don't even know this stuff exists. You know what I
So
mean?
are you able to read people and be like, okay, you're all four, you only got two, you
Yeah,
only got one?
yeah.
What
All I
what,
need to
what
do
am
is
I,
have
man? Read me, man. Do me. Do
I,
me.
I don't do it like that, man.
How did it work, man? Can you just look at me and be like, hey man, you're
Well,
bitch
I
made, you're
break it
beta.
down because the thing is, it won't do you any good for me to go into analytical mode and start telling people about themselves because most people don't even want to know. You
I
know what I
want to
mean?
know. I
No,
want to know.
I understand.
I think I'm a
No, no,
man.
no.
You
So
call me.
my
I
job,
know I'm alpha, homie.
no, my job is as a guy
Okay.
is to present the information to you, and then you
Okay.
recognize within yourself. You
Okay.
feel
Present
me?
the information to me so I can recognize within
Yeah.
myself.
And so just when we basically just look at like I'll touch on the four archetypes. So the healer, that was something I've always had naturally in my in my I was always on deck. I was always in a mode to in a helping mode, the healer lover type mentality. There was nothing I had to work at. That was just in me, you know. And there's positive manifestations and negative manifestations of each one as well. And so that same healer can be a pimp. That same, that same healer, that same lover can use that energy for good, or it can be used for bad,
Okay.
or what you would consider good or bad. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so my healer was always something that was innate, like I had that naturally. The hunter was something I always had on deck. So the hunter that's about getting the bag. That's about going to get your money. That's about grind mode, get
I'm
it.
a hunter, baby.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
a
what you
hunter,
hunt.
baby.
Yeah, you go on
I'm a
after.
straight up hunter because I'm
Yeah,
about to get. I'm about to
and
keep.
so
Hey, I'm not
yeah,
leaving. I'm not leaving the pond without my fish, homie.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I'm a
And
hunter.
so my challenge is that, or challenge was that I had difficulty being both at the same time because I
Okay.
wasn't balanced.
Now tell me again. What is healer again? What are the qualifications for healer? What is
The
it?
healer, a healer is the lover energy. That's the healing energy, the energy that allows me to do my tantra work more so than anything else. It's the having a desire to be of assistance, especially when
Like
you're
a
dealing with
like
women.
service?
No, not a
Like
servant.
service?
Oh, yeah, I guess it could be listed as a servant. Yeah, because I am a servant to the people. And
Okay.
so, but using my energy to be of assistance in some way, shape, or form, be a comforter, be having that loving energy, that being able to be expressive with my heart. You know what I mean? Being able
So
to, be passionate and be open, and
so you've
what it
seen my
takes to be a
shows.
good, what it takes
You
to be a
seen my
good.
shows. You
Mhm.
seen my shows. Am I in my healing or am I in my hunter when I'm doing these shows? You know me too. So come on, tell me a little bit. Oh, you've been around me enough to know, man. Especially with all these podcasts I'm doing. Am I in my healing because I'm passionate about what I'm doing? I'm trying to connect with my audience. I'm trying to reach these men and wake them up and be like, hey man, you got to step your game up.
Well,
What am I in?
it boils down to your motivation as to why you're doing it. That's the reason why I can see somebody and see how they flow, but until I talk to them to find out, well, why are you doing what you're doing? That's
Well,
gonna
ask
tell
me.
you.
I'll tell you. Ask me. I'll tell you.
Well, okay, well, why are you doing what you're doing? That'll tell you. That'll
Man,
speak
let me
to
tell
you.
you something. You know, I've always had a voice. I've
Right.
always had a voice. I always know how to talk. I can articulate myself pretty decently, and I want to help people. I want to help men. I want to help men not only level up but understand who they are on the inside. So you have to make peace with the monster in you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to make peace. You have to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. You have to understand that you're good and you're evil. You have to come to peace with that. You
Right.
can't do anything in the world until you figure out who you are. And I think that's the biggest thing that I realized earlier. I figured out who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And now I want other people to figure out who I want them to work. I don't want them to just work 40 hours. I want them to bust it like me and work 60 hours. I'm a each one, teach one type of person. I want to help you get to the next level. I want to give you the tools to get to the next level. I don't want to be the only one up here at the top because it's lonely up here. I don't want to be the only one thinking these thoughts by myself. I want other brothers to come up and let's have a collective thought. Let's let
Uh-huh.
let let let's become a part of the collective brain, if that
Right.
makes any sense. You know, the universe is electrons and neutrons. I mean, let's really build something. I'm tired of thinking the same docile, low vibration thoughts. I want to think high thoughts and I want to execute at a high level. I want to build, I need to build a team, so to speak, of people who are on that conscious level. If that makes any sense.
Hmm.
So
And
that's
so,
my motivation.
so
You
your
know,
goal in that is prosperity, right?
a little, of course, man.
For
I
all,
want to be
not
prosperous. Of
yeah.
course, I
For I
want to
mean,
be
for
prosperous.
abundance and prosperity for all.
Of course, man. But
Everybody
yeah,
should be living on a higher level. That would be
yeah.
more of a hunter energy.
Okay, so I'm in my hunter while I'm up. I'm in my
Yeah.
hunter while I'm up here.
Now,
Okay.
if your goal is when you speaking on like the way that you speaking about women and or the modern woman and whatnot, which by the way, when you look at awakening the master feminine, that a lot of pieces of where that concept came from stem from there. And it's
Okay.
funny because because I started rereading Awakening the Master Feminine last week, and I was like, wait, hold up, okay,
You know,
that's
when
why
I
all this
get
stuff sounds familiar. But it speaks to the negative aspects of it, like what happens when women don't bring on their master feminine. And so, like when you talk about like the Kevin Samuels and stuff in the world, that's what they're speaking to, and that's where the information comes from. It's like what the negative aspects of women look like. As a matter of fact, they even mentioned the whole modern woman concept comes from that book. But anyway, um, yeah, but that sounds like as you're explaining it, that it's you're more so operating from the hunter aspect. If they were talking about your approach to that, if it was more from the healer aspect, it's like, okay, well, what can we do to help these women improve? What can we do to help them heal from their generational curses and their generational traumas that can help assist them in raising their vibration so that they can be, operate from their goddess self, you know?
the only thing I can do for the women is listen in and learn what men are saying. Don't just believe what you think. Don't just believe the sisterhood because the sisterhood is dragging you down. The
Mm,
sisterhood is not going to tell you from a man's perspective, which you need to know. You cannot be a woman without a man operating. That's what I want these women to understand and know. I do want them to heal, but I am for my man. For I want my men to get healed post, uh, from PSS. Okay, I want them to be
mhm,
healed from this this these thoughts of that they're not appreciated, that they're not valued. You know, I want women to help to not be a hindrance to the man, but be a helpmeet to the man. I want women to go back to their femininity where they can rule and reign there instead of trying to control and manipulate the man.
mm.
Because women use sex to control men. They use that tantra. They use that divine
No,
femininity
that ain't
sometimes.
tantra. That's manipulation. That ain't what tantra
They
is about.
use that manipulation. It's like mothers manipulate their sons. They're walking around in tight shorts on in front of their sons
Yeah,
and
but
even
but
manipulating.
that speaks to you know community healing that needs to go about.
Yeah,
It works. It goes both ways.
it does.
Yeah.
It does, man.
The
It
thing
does.
is, my thing is each one teach one. I understand, but at the same time, a lot of these women they don't know better. They don't know any better. They just copying what they learn. And
Right.
we're talking about three generations. Ever since if you go back to like the civil rights movement, and then after that, everything went downhill. Yeah,
Right.
because then the drug because the black community. So if we're talking about black folks in general, um, that's when society started taking nosedive because then they started bringing it. We always had drugs in the community, but it like drugs really took over. Uh,
Crack.
we always
Crack.
had challenges with work and whatnot, but we employed each other, which we weren't in a position to employ each other uh, like we used to. And so then you got all these brothers that didn't have any jobs. And then you start the manifestation of the liquor stores and the brothers sitting in front of liquor stores pretending they going to work. because they couldn't find a house, or find a place to live, or not a place to live, but they couldn't find work because nobody would hire them because they were going to look for jobs in the white community with when they used to have jobs readily available in the black community, which no longer existed. They tried to start businesses in the black community, and nobody was supported because why? We had equal rights. We can go shop, and
At the white man, at the Arab, at the it's Hispanic
yeah,
man
with
shop.
everybody else. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
We can go. We're free now. We can shop wherever we want to, and we stop doing business with one another. So the black economy took a major hit. And so that was the first generation, and then welfare came into play, and then you had the what do you call that? Social worker came to the house, and the black man had to run out the back
Kick the
door.
man out. Yeah, kick
Yeah,
the man
and,
out.
and so what kind of honor is that? The thing is, the family had to eat. He couldn't find any work, and so what was his options? People, everybody didn't have a strong enough sense of self-being and whatnot. They identified with their job, and so no jobs were available. Hell, they couldn't start businesses that would be successful. Why? Because the black folks weren't supporting each other because they thought the white man's ice was, colder. And so they stopped
Mm.
doing business in the community. The community fell apart. Brothers, started becoming more the disenfranchised amongst each other. The women started losing faith in the brothers. And then they had that whole situation. What was that? Did I send you that video with they talked about the correspondence between the war on drugs and marriages uh, and
No, I
families?
didn't. You need no. You need to send me that. You didn't
Oh
send that
man,
to
you
me, but
got
I
to see it,
was
man.
watching.
Yeah, oh yeah, the brother's real deep. I can't think of his name, but as a matter of fact, my ex-wife sent it to me. I was like, oh, that's fire. Like it had a direct correlation between when Nixon. It's funny. It was in conjunction with Father's Day. The year before they launched the war on drugs, and the year after they launched Father's Day. It was a
Mm,
mockery because the war on drugs is basically the war on black men. When they started having
exactly. But you know what? You know
disproportionate
that show that
incidents.
I'm watching,
Uh-huh.
Snowfall. Have you seen that show, Snowfall?
No, I hadn't seen it.
Man, you
I
gotta
heard
watch
about
it,
it
man.
though. I heard it was
It's
solid though.
real good, man. It's real good, man. Unfortunately, they don't have any FBA brothers in there. They got these UK brothers playing us.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
playing like they, but them brothers in the UK can act, man. Them brothers in the UK
Oh
got,
yeah.
got the pulse, got the rhythm, got the beat,
Hmm.
of the hood in the 80s, man. And
Right.
it's ridiculous, man. But we know it's fiction, but it's also based on some truth. But it's
Yeah.
definitely interesting storyline and plot. But
Yeah.
real quick, go over the last two archetypes, and then I want to jump into this video, and then I
Okay.
want you to
It,
break it apart for me.
so we got the healer,
The healer.
lover. That's pretty much a given. We got the hunter. That's about getting your bread. And then
Okay.
you have the warrior. That's defending your family. It's not necessarily
Okay.
about going out and fighting, but a warrior,
I'm
they
definitely a
defend.
warrior.
Bless you. Huh?
I'm definitely a warrior.
Yeah, yeah. And so that I defend home. I defend my family at all costs. That's the warrior. That's the you know I'm not a killer, but I will kill if I have to. You feel me? In defense of my family. And then you got the eagle, and
The
that's the one.
eagle.
That's the master planner. That's the one that has the vision of that sees beyond. As the head of the house, man, you got to be in position to. You got to make that tough choice,
I'm an
and
eagle
you
hunter.
got to make that tough choice based on what nobody else can see. And that be look, because I remember when
Man,
I
I'm,
was
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I'm stubborn. If I see something and you don't see
mhm,
it, that's too bad because I see
mhm,
it.
right,
I'm
right,
stubborn in a good way. I'm stubborn in a bad way. But when I know what I know, nobody's gonna change my mind, bro.
yeah.
Because I know what I see.
And so I remember my grandfather when I first learned about the eagle, and had the whole family because it was like I'm the only boy in my generation. My uncle was the only boy in his generation, and then it was my grandfather, and then the whole rest of the family was all women. So they all losing their mind and and I'm young, and so I don't know. I just going with what the majority of the folks say. We're talking about my aunts and my mom and everybody and all my cousins. They all females as well. So everybody losing their shit, and then my grandfather was like real steadfast and just like, no, this is what we gonna do. And no, you don't know what you're talking about. Blah 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 blah. He's like, look, this is what we doing. And he already had a whole plan. It's like y'all don't know. And it was like, and they try to move it to like some kind of voting thing. And he was like, no, this is the way it's gonna go down. And even to the point where I'm thinking about, democracy and stuff like that, and everybody got an equal say. And sure enough, he took us where we needed to go. But all hell was breaking loose on the other end. But they was on an emotional state. They weren't like thinking logically about how to maneuver through the situation. I forget exactly what it was. And he had that eagle. My grandfather, if he didn't have nothing else, he had that eagle on deck, and he could, have that plan and then work it to a T. And so, but I saw that and understood that at an early age, like, oh, okay, that's the way to roll. He wasn't like, no hard ass and nothing like that. But he's like, no, this is the way we're gonna do it. Oh no, you can't say no. No, this is how we roll. This is how we're gonna make this happen. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the A, B, C, D, and worked it out to the end. And so that eagle is the ability uh, to take a plan, create a plan, see what nobody else can see, and have that vision for the family light years before it even happens. That that
That's my
planning
dad.
for retirement, that type of stuff.
That's
And
my
so,
dad.
so you got the eagle, you got the healer, you got the hunter, you got the warrior. And like I said, a lot of folks, especially the younger generations, they don't even have one of them on deck. But
Mm.
normally, one, maybe two is
Beta.
the average.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
one,
mm.
maybe two is the average. And so that's
Okay.
why it's important to be balanced. Because my challenge was I had parts and bits of each one, depending on the situation, but I had difficulty maintaining them all at the same time. Like,
But I think everybody has a problem maintaining because different roles require for different strengths. When it's time to lead, you want somebody that can make a decision. When it's
mhm,
when it's time to hunt, you want somebody that can execute. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but like I'll show you what I mean. Like for me, my lover and my healer lover always had an issue with my hunter. And the reason being is either I worked around the clock or I was in lover mode. Let me heal you. You know, let me get my. So it's like one versus the other. It wasn't like I could. I had a challenge doing both. Either I was in full work mode and my sensitivity level would drop because I'm in this grind mode. Like I'm not nice in that mode. I'm about
I'm
getting
gonna be
my back.
honest with you, bro. I'm the same
Yeah,
way. I'm gonna be
yeah.
honest with you,
But at the
bro.
same
I
time,
mean,
my
I have a
asshole around the
problem.
house when I'm in that mode. Is that
I
good
I,
for my
I
relationship?
think I
Yeah,
think most men are like that though, bro. I
yeah.
don't
But
know
see
too
that,
many
but
men who aren't like that. I don't know too many men who, when they're in work mode, can come back and be sensitive real quick. You got to warm up to it. It takes a while. You
yeah,
gotta
but see, but
woozah and
that's
come
the thing.
down.
When all your archetypes are on deck, you can flip seamlessly between each one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's a work in progress for
yeah,
me. Then I'm gonna
and
be
that's what
honest.
I'm
That's a
saying.
work in progress for
Yeah, I
me
mean, I still
because
have
if
to
I'm
get
in
my
work mode, I'm callous. I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest with you. If I'm in work mode, I'm callous because I'm focused. I have to execute. If we don't execute, we don't win. We don't get the goal. We don't get to rest. We don't get the peace. We don't get the love making if I don't execute. So
yeah,
I gotta
but
execute.
but
So you can be
but
coming in saying, "Hey, baby, calm down." I'm be like, "No, I'm not calm. We gotta get this done, or it ain't gonna happen."
but see, that's the thing. When
What's
you
good,
balance,
Harriet? What's good, Harriet? We got some people commenting. I'm just saying
okay.
what's
The
up to
thing
you.
is, when you balance, though, it don't have to be one for the other.
Right.
It can be both. It can be all four.
There, Rob. What's up, man? What's going on? Yeah, man. You know what? Like, it's a work in progress. It's
Absolutely,
it's a work in
absolutely.
progress, man. Man, we gonna man.
I
You know
mean,
what, man? We
I
gotta
still,
do some. We gotta do some one on one, man. You gotta give me some one on one,
yeah,
man.
because I mean, I'm 8 years into this knowledge. Since I've been
Hmm.
a part of Grand Trine, and so
Okay.
I still, I have not perfected it by any means.
Shout out
But
to Dubai in the house, man. What's up, y'all? We got some people from Dubai in. What's going on?
what's up? Okay,
Peace and
there's
love, man.
pieces to you. Yeah, and so no, it's all a part of, it's a work in progress. I didn't wake up. I don't have no angel wings, anything like that, or halo on my head. Um, you
Okay, what
know,
we're talking about real quick, man. He's 8 years
mhm,
into Tantra. We're talking. This is Tantra Talk Thursdays. We're talking about
mhm.
unleashing the masculine, the master masculine. Okay, not just the masculine, but the master masculine. We want to help you be a man, a whole, not just a part of a man, but a whole man.
Yeah, you want to function in your superior man state, and then moving towards a divine man state.
There you go.
Yeah, if you're talking about like the tree of life, moving from Sahu, which is an inferior man, to a superior man, which is a Ba, not Ba, is a ab state, and then to a Ba state, which is divine, which is right there on par with being operating in your godlike nature.
They're talking about your dreads right now, man. They love your dreads, man.
Oh, blessings,
You know,
thank
they're talking about the master masculine. I think they know a little about Tantra in Dubai, man. They saying you fly, brother. That's what I'm getting right
you.
now. They
All right,
saying
love.
that
Appreciate
that
it.
you fly, man. We appreciate it, man. We want to help. We want to help our brothers out. We don't care where you at. We want to help you become the whole man. That's why we doing this Tantra Talk Thursday. I'm new to
Mhm.
Tantra. This brother's been 8 years into it. Uh, he's doing some amazing things in his community, with his family. I mean, I really look up to this man, especially when it comes to family, because he is definitely. If I know anything about Jeffrey, I am Jeffrey, the guru here. He is a family man.
Man, I'm not a guru, brother.
Man,
I'm
you're a
good at what
guru,
I
man.
do.
You're a
But
guru, man. So, you're my guru because I don't know anybody else talking tantra like you talking, man. So you my guru right now, man. So let me get into the video, man. I mean,
that's
man,
oh yeah, Osho is the truth,
I,
man. I
man,
love Osho. As a matter
oh
of
shit,
fact,
okay,
one of my instructors, one of my Baba, Nick Yama, he studied with Osho for a number of years while he was here in the States. And
okay,
so, yeah, and so he's directing my lineage as far as my learning and understanding of the Tantra space and
okay,
how to function as a man on a higher level.
okay.
Yeah,
For sure. Man, hey, we appreciate y'all for joining us, man. We appreciate it, man. We're gonna go into this video real quick, and we have the guru Jeffrey I am with us, and we're gonna have him break down some things for us. So let me start the video here, and let's Tantra is not just about sex; it's about utilizing the sexual energy to
hmm
combine with all of your chakras so you can connect with God. Is that correct?
yeah. Connect with the universe, the Most High.
Connect with the universe.
Well,
Okay.
to connect with the God within yourself.
The God
Because truth
within
be
you.
told, I mean, we all are God.
So let me ask you this question before I start
Hmm
the video. Why is the sexual energy so strong? Why must we make our sexual energy? Why must we come why must we raise our sexual energy to a level of godlike? Why? Why?
Orgasmic energy. That's what we were given to attach to our God nature.
No. Okay.
The thing is, it's been suppressed and it's been dumbed down to where people function like animals. What's the difference between us and a dog, or any other animal rolling around? It's our ability to sublimate our energy and connect with the Most High. We're made in the likeness and image of God, and so
Okay.
when we really get down to the essence of it, we function. We are God, and the thing is, Tantra helps you realize that, how to attach to that, how to connect with the universe, all the stuff that they do artificially with these computers and stuff like that, man. We all did naturally.
Okay.
Yeah, when you
Jeff,
look
we
at the
got some
ancient
people who want to
civilizations.
hop on. They want to hop on.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
leave that up to you. Are you
that's
okay? Are
cool.
you
I'm
open with
wide
people
open.
hopping? Okay.
Come with
This
it.
is my only rule: no nudity, no cussing, nothing that's gonna ding or disrupt the platform on YouTube. We are streaming from Twitch right now. We're streaming from Facebook. We're streaming from YouTube, and we're also live on Twitter. So I want you, if I drop the link and you come up, you're more than welcome to come up and rap with us, and we talk. It's all good, but just keep it respectful. That's all I ask. Okay. So I'm gonna drop the link right now in the chat. Okay, I don't know why it's not dropping. It's gonna drop. There we go. There you go. It dropped. Okay, so the link's in the chat. Um, you're more than welcome to come up if you want to join the link and talk with us and rap with us. We want to hear from our Dubai brothers. It's all love over here. And we're gonna jump into the video though, and we're gonna get a chance to have Jeffrey break down and kind of reiterate what they're saying and put his own spin on it as far as his knowledge. But let's go into the video here. Tantra is not about sex. Let's talk about it.
Tantra means extreme discipline. It's not unbridled promiscuity. Learning to use your body and your mind like you would use some other outside instrument. This is a tremendous gift that Agastya Muni offered, that he established a tantric process 100% rooted in the body, nothing outside.
What's he saying there?
When you say Tantra, one has often heard the term tantric, and and there's various kinds of things floating around about it. Can you just shed some light on what essentially is there something like a dark arts or what?
That's me asking you
Most of
that.
the
Jeffrey.
existence is dark art. Light is only a small happening in this existence, isn't it? Isn't most of the existence dark? Yes. Light is a very small happening, a very limited happening. If light has to come, something has to burn. To have these lights going, something in this planet is burning right now. You must understand this. Ecologically aware people.
Okay, let me stop it right there. What do you think about that? He said the world is dark. Okay, let me bring up Coffee here. Welcome to the platform, Coffee, man. How
Yeah,
you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Very good,
Blessings,
very.
brother. How you doing?
Yo, look, I'm repping America.
There you go. We just talked about the eagle, man. It's one of the archetypes as well, too, man. So we love that, man. But Jeffrey, man, what's he talking about, man? We said the world is dark, and when light happens, something has to burn. What does he mean by that?
Well, I mean, when you really look at like even on a cellular level,
Okay.
okay, yeah, when you look at on a cellular level, there's more dark matter than there is light, and then from the darkness comes the light.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we're talking about we
Yeah,
go
it
look
looked like
at
you
like
got kicked out, Harris. If you want to jump back in, just go ahead and hop back in. Uh,
yeah, if you want to if we're talking about things on a metaphysical level. And so I didn't quite catch everything that he was saying, but the basic premise of that is that speaks back to the whole duality of life. In order to have light, there has to be darkness, or even to be able to recognize and understand the darkness or one or the other. And so we're talking about the whole polarity thing as well. And
okay.
so when they talk, and I guess the question was, do you believe in dark matter or the dark arts or whatnot? And what that boils down to is, well, what's considered dark. What is darkness actually something that's actually bad? And what it all boils down to is how you use it, because anything can be used for a positive or negative situation. The thing is, when we talk about polarity, we talk about positive and negative energy. We both needs the other to exist. And so in order to have light, you got to have darkness. Why? Because you wouldn't recognize the light.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you look at space, you got the sun, right?
Right.
Okay, well, how do you know the sun is there? Because it shines bright. Bright in what? Bright inside the darkness.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Dark light
yeah.
is actually what even the Bible says. Darkness can never consume the light.
Hmm.
It's like when the light reaches, darkness has to hide. Darkness
Right.
goes away.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
I can
And
dig
so
it.
when they asked him about the dark art itself, usually that's in reference to like black magic and stuff like that. And pretty much the same principles that operate, for the positive aspects of life. There's a fine line between everything, and so
Right.
depending on the individual, they can take that information and use it for good or bad.
There you
It's,
go.
and so and it basically is saying, well, what is, we talk about the dark arts. Well, what is that? It all depends on what you're utilizing it for. Are you utilizing it to manipulate people to control folks, or like the same information that I'm learning uh, could be used, or has been used for negative, has had negative uses. That's what you utilize to control society as it exists today. But on the
So
flip
you can
side,
use
that same
tantra for
information
good
can be
and
used
bad. Is that
to.
what you're saying?
Hmm?
You can use tantra for good and evil.
It goes. Tantra is a way of life. It's not necessarily just the energetic practice. The suppression of the information is what can be used for bad.
Gotcha.
Can having like the heightened sexual powers, or actually being able to be attached to operating your God self and knowing that everybody around you isn't, and you have an ability to control them or or manipulate them any way you see fit. Yeah, that could be used for bad. It has been.
Okay.
Tantra
Yeah.
itself was something that wasn't available to the masses back in the day. It was only passed down through for the kings, the royalty, and select individuals within society. It was just made available to the masses. I'm not exactly sure when, but it's in the recent times. Within
Okay.
the last few hundred years, it's not something that was widely known.
Okay.
Even to this day, only 99% of the population don't has no idea that tantra even exists on the level that it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick here, Coffee. Introduce yourself to us, man. What do you know about tantra? Tell us a little bit about yourself, real quick, first, and then
Uh,
what's your mindset on tantra?
so honestly, I don't know too much about Tantra,
Okay.
but I'm from Dubai. I
Dubai. Okay.
am. I wanted to ask you a question actually about your thoughts on Islam.
What's
Oh,
up?
you asking me or Jeffrey? Who?
Both of you.
Thoughts on Islam?
Like, what do you
I,
guys
I
know? How do you
I
feel
studied a
about
little
it?
bit of Islam. I studied a little bit about Islam. I studied a lot of religions. I have a bachelor's in biblical studies. But I know Islam means servant of God, right? One who serves God, something like that, right?
No, it means peace. I'm pretty sure it means
Peace,
peace. Yeah,
peace. Okay, okay. What
pretty
do
sure.
you think about Islam, Jeffrey?
As far as religions are concerned, my main focus is spirituality. And so I see the good in all religions, actually, from at their roots in the basis. And so I'm not really like heavily, deeply. Um, I don't have a strong background in Islam itself, other than just the general practices and the general way of life and whatnot. So I don't have an opinion one way or another. I mean, the same thing. I was raised Christian, but I have respect for people in all from all religions. The only
Same,
Yeah,
issues I
same with
ever
me.
have in general is just anybody that perverts the word and utilizes it to manipulate people or control people. And so otherwise, no, I'm good. But I don't have an actual full opinion about it. Or when you ask, like, what do you think about it? Like, in what way?
Are you there, man? Hey, I got to
Uh,
remove him, man. I don't know what that was, man. So I got to cut that. I got to cut that out, man.
yeah. He's also
Y- Yeah, you can't
um,
be doing all that stuff here on the
yeah,
camera,
putting
man.
his
You're
feet
gonna
in
mess
the
up our
camera.
platform. So it look like he's just trying to, and he's trying to get my platform dinged. So we gotta, before he gets too
Yeah,
crazy, we gotta knock that out, man. So we can't have you back on here doing that, man. It's not about that, man. You seem like you was cool, but we can't do that, man.
yeah.
We can't have that, man. If you want to joke around, this is not that platform, man. But all religions is good, man. We wanna respect all religions, man. We want to
Yeah,
respect all people, and like you said, it's coming from more of a spirit. We're more concerned about the spirit. Is the heart right? Is the
yeah.
spirit right? Are you righteous? Do you
Hmm.
practice what you preach? or are you trying to manipulate and pervert things? That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You
Now
know,
I will say this though.
go ahead.
I'm not for or in support of any religious practices that focus on God being outside of yourself, or like there's a disconnection, or you have to go through somebody to get to your like you can't have a direct connection with the Most High. That's something that I'm not gonna go in somebody's church and start standing on my soapbox and start, be the contrarian to the service or anything like that. But I'm not in support of that type of situation where people look at God as being something external to them, like they can't have that direct connection or enact the same things and like enact their God like connection or their God like nature. I can't get down with that. No.
Word, word.
Mhm.
Word. I'm with the same. I believe this. I believe similar because I believe
Mhm.
that you know the God that you're looking for is within you. I believe that you don't hear the audible voice of God, but you hear that gut feeling, that instinct. That's what you follow. I always say,
Exactly.
lead with your gut, not with your heart. If
Uh-huh.
you lead with your heart, it's going to put you astray. Okay. If you lead with your heart, you're gonna get hurt because your heart doesn't necessarily know what's best for you. Your heart
Ah,
is connected differently. I always say lead with your gut because your gut is going to tell you what's true. It's going to tell you it's going to be it's that instinct that you can trust. That's what I say. Too many people follow their heart and it's not necessarily leading them in the right path. Even the Bible says the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? That's what the Bible.
that's I don't know. I can't subscribe to that, man.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
hey,
I can't
that's why
because
you here, Guru.
you
Tell us why you can't. Tell it. Tell,
because
tell us why we need to lead with our heart, then, man. Because I'm telling people, lead with your gut. Your gut is not going to lie to you. Your gut is not going to tell you. Your gut is not going to lead you down the right. Your gut is the one that's going to tell you danger is coming. Your gut is going to tell you when you should go right or you should go left. Your gut is going to give you sound, intellectual, spiritual advice.
well,
Your
okay.
heart is human. Your heart can be hurt. Your heart can tell you to love someone that you shouldn't be loving. Your gut's going to tell you detach yourself from that love because it's harmful to you.
Yeah, but that's what jacks people. Well, see, the gut is connected directly to the mind. The
Logic.
heart
You
is
got it.
connected.
Logic has to rule emotions. Logic has to rule emotions.
No, not necessarily. It helps direct them, but not necessarily
It,
rule them.
well,
Now,
if it's directing, it's leading, right?
yeah, but see, the reason why, especially for women, the reason being is the body never lies. You ever heard of muscle testing?
Say again.
Have you ever heard of the process called muscle testing?
Muscle tester? No.
Testing, yeah, muscle testing.
Muscles testing?
No, muscle testing.
Muscle testing?
Testing, test,
Testing, right?
TST.
Muscle
Yes,
testing.
yes.
Uh, not yes, no, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Well, the body never lies. It always tells the truth. And so there are physiological cues that your body will do that speaks to the truth of what it is or the truth of who and what you really are.
So
You
when
ever
someone
have
takes
somebody telling you,
a lie detector test, so to speak,
yeah,
that's how
you
they
can
know you're
literally,
telling the truth?
like, you'll know whether something's true or false. You can test it. It's a muscle. It's called a muscle test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The heart it governs the brain. You have multiple brains. And so in your gut, that's directly attached to your actual mind. And that's why when you're speaking from the gut, that's more like a logical base. It's a It is an intuitive like thing, but the heart itself, the
It's
reason why
human,
most
man.
people have the
The
troubles that
heart is
they do,
human.
but it's
The heart can
because they
make
close their
mistakes.
heart off. The
Okay.
heart is the strongest muscle, the strongest organ in the body. The heart emits a signal, a vibration that goes beyond. Our heart is directly connected to our energy bodies.
Yeah, but I look at our heart and the body as different. I mean, we often refer to our heart as the, because it pumps all the blood out to the, but when I'm talking about the heart, I'm talking about the spirit of it, the spirit of a thing. I'm talking about the one that's connected to the emotion. I'm talking about the one that makes you feel for this person, have sympathy, have empathy. That's the heart I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's
And
the
the
heart that can
thing is,
mislead you, because
you have to be in control of that.
you can want to help the wrong person because you have that heart to do that. That's who you are. But that gut will tell you, don't help this one.
But see, you speaking from a mental standpoint as opposed to a heart-centered standpoint. Once I opened my heart, because I was the king of closed hearts,
Okay.
basically based on how I grew up. And so, in order to do tantra or do the tantra work, like the table work and whatnot on a high level, your heart is the gatekeeper for all of that. When it comes to your money, if you have a closed heart, it's gonna shut your money flow off. If you have a closed heart, it's gonna limit your ability to have deep relationships. If you have a closed heart, it's gonna cause a whole host of different problems, energetically and physically. Let your heart stop beating. How long you gonna stay alive? You could
What
be
do you
brain
disagree
dead and
with,
live
Harris?
forever if
What do
your
you
heart's still
disagree with?
pumping.
We got somebody disagreeing. What do you disagree? What part do you disagree with? Do you disagree with what I'm saying, or do you disagree with what Jeffrey's saying? What part do you disagree with? Which one doesn't make sense? We don't type it out for us, man.
Yeah,
You're not
the
going to
heart.
start beef, but if you have a question or opinion, we just want to hear it. As long as it's coming from a good place. We're not
Mhm.
here for, you to kick your feet up and show us your feet. We're here for, to learn. We want to educate men here.
Yeah, and so being heart centered, and so when you talk about with women, when I'm working with women, right?
Hmm.
It's three areas that I have to open up almost all the time, almost every time. That's the genital area, the womb, because it's closed off, because that's where women store their trauma. It's
Okay.
their heart, because their heart has been broken. They're hurt. They can't open. They fail to open. It's difficult for them to open up. And their throat chakra, because many women, they come from a situation where they haven't been able to allow to express themselves or have a voice. And so the number one thing that I do is I connect and open up all three of those chakras in order for the orgasmic energy to flow, because there's a blockage almost every time, either in one or all of them, all of those areas. In men, a majority of the men, they're either closed off from their genital region or they're closed off from their heart. Shoot, half the men, actually a majority of the men, especially here in Western society, they can't even feel their genitals. They like literally, they don't. You had them close their eyes and ask them, can they feel the energy coming from they can't. They're numb. And the same goes for their heart, because it's blocked off. And so to the degree that you're blocked off from your heart, you're shutting yourself off to a whole dimension that exists around you, a whole different level of existence. So when we talk about living in your orgasmicness and and allowing to have your energy flow, if your heart is shut off, you basically operate. It's impossible for you to
So
achieve higher states of consciousness with a closed heart.
right. So I can agree with that. I can agree with that, because the gut has to work through the heart.
Yeah, There's a
You know,
reason why when we talk about
but the
where
gut has
where
to.
things
But to me,
exist.
also the gut has to control the heart.
Hmm?
The gut has to control the heart.
The gut supports the heart.
Supports the heart. Okay.
Yeah. So like when you say people made bad decisions, right? Because they were
Mm-hmm.
leading with their heart,
Mm-hmm.
the
They made
gut
a mistake.
supports that. But it
The
doesn't mean
gut.
you don't lead with your heart. Because everything you should do, you should lead in love, even for your enemies.
I don't know, man. I used to
Now,
want, you
I'm
know.
not talking about that turn the cheek shit. I'm not talking about that.
Okay. Okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
talking about that.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
like, say for instance, the situation I had with my mom, right?
Go
Because
ahead.
people's like, well, how could you forgive her for doing that to you? And I'm like, well, shoot, if I'm sitting there harboring that, guess what that's doing to me? Eating me alive. It's following me into every relationship that I had. You can't heal without with a corrupted heart and heart. You can't be the what? Okay, when we talk about love, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do they refer to as godly love?
What's agape?
Agape, exactly. And what is that? Unconditional love.
That's the unconditioned. That's the highest form of
Okay.
love, right?
So if you're worried about guarding your heart, what does that mean? That means you love conditionally, right?
The Bible says guard your heart. You know, because your heart can pick up. You know, to me, your heart can pick up bad habits. Your heart can
Yeah,
pick up bad habits. You
that's
don't
true.
want. You want to
What's
keep
the
your
number
heart
one thing?
pure. You want to
But
keep
what's
your
the
heart
number
pure.
one thing to pick up bad habits, though? Your
Say again.
conditioning, your mental, your subconscious, your
All
brain.
that. Yeah. All that.
Yeah, your heart ain't making people go grab that extra piece of cake. The heart ain't what's making somebody turn up that bottle of Henny.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
that
man.
that fifth that fifth glass, and they know they should have stopped after the first two. I mean, you see what I'm saying? That
Yeah. Yeah.
the
But
heart
see,
ain't
but
gonna
see,
take
but
you
see,
to
but
the
see, but see, that's more of addiction. Now we're talking about because we're addicted to sugar, we're addicted to this, we're addicted to that. You
yeah,
know,
but it wasn't
that's
your heart that called people to do to take on that in the first place.
no. Well, it's your habits. You
Yeah,
are what you are. You are what you eat. You are your habits. You are a sum total of the habits that you do on a daily basis. You know,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
can definitely
So I mean,
agree
I
with
hear what you say, but the gut is there to help fine tune it. But
your
once, because
gut is the discernment. Your gut is the discernment.
your
That's
heart
where your
is,
discernment lies, and even your gut can be taught wrong because it cannot discern correctly if you don't teach it well. So,
but see, the thing is, when you're gut centered, that taps directly to your mind. You're thinking, you logic
hey,
centered.
can you plug this in for me? For some reason, I'm not getting power from this. Can you make sure this is on so I can get power? I'm not getting any power here. Yeah, there we go.
So when you got centered, that's more of the logical center. It's the intuitive logical center. Whereas when you're
Okay.
heart centered, like say for instance, when I still learn, because I used to be just totally like I led with my gut, same what you is what you're saying. But when I started to lead with my heart, my ability to discern things on a whole other level, like it went out of this world because I can feel like a buzzing sensation when things are good and bad. Even when I'm doing the table work, a lot of times you'll see in pictures, you'll see me have my hand over my heart while I'm doing the projection work. And the reason being is that's how I know when I'm connecting to somebody else's auric field. Because I get a
Okay.
buzz that comes from my heart into my hand.
Okay. Hold on, real quick. I just want to make sure people are hearing you because I'm not hearing you. All of a sudden, you got real low, and it sounds more. Yeah. All of a sudden, it sounds like you're far away or you're talking through like a tunnel.
Oh, really? Okay. How about now?
No, still. You want to try to come back out and come back in?
Okay.
Yeah, just try to come back out and come back in. real quick. Interesting stuff though, man. Man, very interesting. Um, we get into it over here, y'all. Y'all see, we having these conversations that need to be had. We wanna unleash that masculine energy, and we're talking about the gut and the heart. And even though there might be a slight disagreement, I don't disagree with what Jeffrey is saying. I mean,
Oh, now,
definitely perfect now.
okay.
Jeffrey is definitely making sense. I can't say I disagree with him. You know, I may not agree with everything, but even what he's saying that I disagree with, he's winning me over because he's coming with logic and it's making sense. And I know he's coming from a he studied this. I'm not saying I studied this. I'm just saying I'm telling you what I know and what I read. But this guy has been through. This guy's actually done the work 8 years in. So I'm definitely hearing him with with an open heart, not a closed heart.
Mm.
Uh, with what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
And so I know it's a big pill to swallow because it was a major one for me to swallow. Um, but having seen the other side, I see the benefits to it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And so, like I said, I was where you were at before. I mean, even, 5 years in, I still hadn't fully let go. But then when I started, we actually had the heart work class, and it started breaking down like, oh yeah, this is how the heart is attached to your money flow, how you exist in the world, the importance of the heart. And then it was like, oh, then it hit me like, oh, okay. And then it was like, yeah, and there's levels to this, the table work when we're working with clients. And then once I started to open up my heart and being more heart centered in my approach to not only just doing the tantra work, but everything in life,
Well,
my
what it sounds to
relationships on every
me
level.
is what it sounds to me is that you trained your heart, and that's
Yes,
why you can trust it.
yes,
So I
because
have no issues with that. If you're saying you trained your heart, your gut was leading in the beginning, but now you can trust your heart because you trained your heart.
yes,
I can't disagree with that because I believe in that. Well,
right,
actually, I'm not saying we're saying the same thing, but I'm saying you're making a well-spoken argument. Does
yeah,
that make sense?
I feel
I
you.
mean,
No, no, most absolutely.
if you're saying that your gut discerned and was leading in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, because of the way you were carrying yourself and the things that you were feeding yourself, and your heart was interpreting uh, with the help of the gut, in support of the gut, you
Hmm.
trained your heart.
Yeah,
And now you have your gut and your heart aligned, like the chakras are, right? Like they're in alignment.
yes,
Man, I need to get there. I'm still on the gut. I can't trust my heart.
yeah.
my heart my
It's
heart
it's
wants
it's
to
a jump,
love
man.
all the time, man. My heart wants to attach to the wrong. I still feel like I have some relationships that I still need
Hmm.
to deaden and walk away from, but my heart is still there. Does that make sense?
Yes. See,
So I
there's a
still
difference between forgiveness.
so instead of deadening that relationship, I just kind of remove myself away. I have to have my alone time. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I have to have my time away from these people because I know that they can be toxic to me. But
Yes.
my heart still says I love them and I want to
Yeah.
be
No,
there.
you can love them. Yeah, I love my family, but I don't mess with
Hey,
them.
hey, hey, say
Yeah,
that. Say
you can
less.
love somebody
Say
from.
less.
See
Because
now,
my gut tells me, nah, don't go over there. But my heart's like, I just want to check in on them.
yeah,
My
no,
gut's
you can
like,
be cool with folks.
nah, you ain't ready
Like
yet.
you can be cool with folks. Don't mean you got to go hang out with them.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
no, that's why I say everything's got to be in balance.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, like
well,
I
let's get
said,
some more of this video in, and
yeah.
we are rapping right now, man. We are on. I mean, an hour went by so fast,
Oh wow.
Yeah, it went by
Yeah,
so fast. I mean, we're
yeah,
in the zone, but I don't want to end it just yet. You still got some more time for me?
yeah. I'm good.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I
Let's
got.
go. Let's go into this video a little bit more. Like I said, I know you got things to do, but we are. This is that conversation right here. We getting deep. We are getting deep, 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 and this is
Mhm.
where we need to be at. But let me go back into it because in this video, I'm sure it's gonna open some more conversation and topics that we need to discuss.
Right.
So let's go into it.
Oh, sure.
To have all these dots of light, something is burning somewhere. We say the bulb is burning, that is also burning, but something else is burning to keep this burning, isn't it? This is the way of the light. Whether it's the light bulb or the sun, something is burning. Whatever is burning is bound to get over someday. Yes? So that's why we say, if you're burning irresponsibly, we say, you're burning the candle from both the ends. Because we understand, if light has to come, something has to burn. So if you are burning to cause light, you better control the light and keep it at the minimum, otherwise things will burn up very soon.
Okay.
So light is a very limited happening. The whole cosmos is a dark art. No?
Okay. He said. I mean, I think he was saying something there, but I felt like he wanted to elaborate on that.
Yeah, well, no. Now that I'm hearing the rest of what he's saying, where he's going to. Bottom line is, when I mentioned the light comes from darkness. Light requires energy, and in order to have that light glowing and firing like to shine bright, you got to be in balance. You can't burn too high or too low, and so you need that darkness to balance that out as well. And so
Yeah,
we
because
talk
what he
about
was
he
talking
said
about
so
is
the
if you
whole
have,
so
if you,
he's
go
saying
ahead.
there's a whole lot more darkness than there actually is light.
Of course,
Yeah, but in order
but
for
he's
that
also
light to
saying
shine bright, but he's actually hitting on a whole bunch of different things at the same
he
time.
is, man. Because
Yeah,
what I'm hearing him say is, if you can't control that light, it can burn everything up
or burn itself out.
or burn itself out. Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's what I got from it was it can burn itself out or burn yourself out.
What do you mean about burning the candles on both ends?
Doing too much,
Okay.
not being balanced
Not being responsible.
or balance. Yeah, or not being balanced because everything's about balance. And so, in order for that light, when he's saying something's burning, light fire itself has a consuming nature. And so, we're talking about the element of fire. It has a transformative, consuming nature. And so, in order for it to burn, it has to consume something to change it. It needs another element in order to exist. And so, he's talking about burning the candle at both ends. You at some point there's not going to be anything left to consume.
Mm,
Yeah. So it's
okay.
important to stay in balance. Now that transfers into everything you do in life. Overworking
So,
yourself, not being spiritually balanced or grounded, being way so high up in the stratosphere in your God nature that you're not no longer attached here to this earth, where you can care less about any kind of earthly desires and stuff like that.
You so heavenly that you're no earthly good.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's get back into it, man, because he's getting deep, man, and I definitely want to hear your interpretation of what's going on. So let's get back. And so there's a lot of dark art that one can practice, not necessarily life negative. That's what
Yeah, I
there
mean,
is a lot of dark art that one can practice, not necessarily life negative. Dark arts are not necessarily life negative. When we say occult,
there you go.
because you've heard of some lousy occultist who is trying to destroy somebody's lives, cause disease, cause death, because of that you think that occult is always a negative thing because socially you are exposed to only that kind of people. But occult is also of the highest order. Shiva is an occultist. Every guru is an occultist,
Uh-oh.
okay? Right now I initiate you into Shambhavi, it's an occult. Otherwise,
Uh-oh. Hold on, man. Are you trying to get me in a cult, Jeffrey? Hold on, man.
Nah, he's just talking about people with limited understanding, putting negative labels on stuff because they don't understand it.
So he pretty much said everything's a cult. Church is a cult.
No,
Everything's
the
a cult.
media portrays it as such. But everything, but I mean,
He
everything
said
can be
every
convinced.
guru is a cult, and you're the guru for this channel. So we in a cult. What's going on, man?
Nah, he's just talking about the strict label of what people refer to as being a cult. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a bad positive or negative thing. It's just, if you're just looking at the specific strict definition of a cult, that's all.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Clean that up, folks, man. Because he's like, man, everything's in a cult, man. Let's see what he's saying.
How would it work? Occult means a certain capability.
Yeah, it
It's a
means a
certain
certain
technology.
capability.
Right now, I can pull out my cell phone and speak to somebody in another part of the world. This is a technology. Suppose without the cell phone, right now if I speak to somebody in United States just like this is occult.
Mm.
So technology is not very different from occult. You're using different kinds of material, but it's actually the same thing. When modern technology was not there, occult was extremely relevant. But today, occult's relevance is receding as modern technology progresses.
Okay, let me stop it there. What do you think about that? That was a lot. He said that because
Yeah,
we have modern technology right now, we need less of the occult and it's not relevant. But before, we believed in the occult because that's all we had. That was our technology.
no,
And I can
absolutely.
agree with that. I
We
can
live in a
freaking
machine
believe that.
cult. We live in a machine culture, a machine society. It's put us in a position like everything that exists today, right? When we talk about these cell phones, we talk about the ability to communicate. You're in Africa, I'm in Atlanta right now. We're
Mhm.
communicating across, you know, tens
We
upon
had
thousands
somebody
of miles
from
apart,
Divide
right?
who tried to put their feet up there and was probably about to do something else if we didn't kick them off.
Hmm. Yeah.
Gee.
And so the ability to do that replaces, telepathy.
Okay.
I can I can be in a whole other. Somebody can be over there in the continent, and if I lock in and focus on that individual, I can induce a change in them from here by channeling my life force energy across space and time, which actually is an illusion to exactly where they are at this point, just like I'm talking to you right
Okay.
now. And they can go into a full orgasmic orbit.
Now I'm interested in that, man. I want to learn that technique, man. So whenever
Hmm.
you're ready to
Yeah,
teach me that, I'm ready to learn how
but
to touch people from a
there's a
distance.
process to that that goes into the first thing is identifying the counterfeit persona and bringing that down to a minimum, and then
What if
bring
I just pay for it? What if I just pay for it like T-Mobile? Like I make my cell phone bill, I pay for that ability, and you just give it to me so I can do what I need to
well, there's a different type of cash that comes with that.
do.
And so we're talking about your spiritual bank account. That's where it's got to come
Ah,
from.
so I can't use the physical money to get the spiritual, huh?
Nah, the spiritual
Ah,
money will produce the physical money though,
okay.
to the
Well, now
degree
we
that
know.
you're tapped in, because you can manifest anything once you tap into your godlike nature. Once you
See, so
realize that the dominion of your word, you can address and put anything out there. You know,
see, so that's why modern
I'm
technology
just
is so much
transparent
more
about what
attractive
the
than the
situation
occult
is.
right
I,
now.
I was homeless at some
Okay,
point, and then I manifested where I'm at right now.
right.
Why? Because of the way that I thought. It's easy to lose focus in the world that we live in because everything's so set up and based on us, is set up on and based on a scarcity mindset, that it's easy to fall back into that, even the best of us. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, and so because it's everything around us speaks to scarcity, speaks to lack, speaks to operating in our lower nature, speaks to um, you know into grind mode, and there's not enough, and I can't stop because I'm gonna lose it all. But when you're sitting there focused on losing it all, guess what happens? Or not losing it all, guess what ends up happening? Your dominant thought becomes your reality. Because all
True.
the
What you
universe is
focus
lose it
on,
all, lose
you
it all,
will
don't
get.
lose it all. Hmm?
What you focus, I always say, what you focus on, you will get. If you focus on the problem, then the problem is going to be magnified. But
Yeah,
if
you
you
focus
focus
on
on
the
the
solution
solution,
always.
then the solution will be magnified. Which
Yep.
one do you want magnified, the problem or the solution?
Mm-hmm.
I totally 100% agree with that, man.
Yeah.
100%.
And so when you get caught up in the midst of that, life happens, catch you at a weak point, you get exasperated, and then all of a sudden, things don't start to kind of go south on you, and then you get caught up in it, in the madness. And so it's easy to do. And so that's why it's important to be disciplined. That's why it's important, to stay focused on making sure you wake up first thing in the morning. I go through my mantras. I go through my my meditations. I go through my yoga practices. I go through my qigong. I'm setting the tone for what happens for the rest of that day. And every day that I do that, my days, 99.9% of the time, turn out exactly the way that I planned. Now,
Uh,
is there that 1%? Yeah, that could turn things sideways. Yeah. And the thing is, usually when a negative situation comes about, that's because we're not in alignment with our true selves, or in the direction that we're supposed to be going. And so that negative situation bumps you back on course. And so even when, like, say for instance, where was I? I was going to pick up a car, and it was crazy because I was going to pick up a car up in North Carolina a couple weeks ago, and so I caught the bus. They got this thing called a mega bus that take you up there and drop me off like a couple miles from the location where I was picking the car up from, and the bus driver got lost. How
mm,
the hell does a bus driver get lost?
exactly.
I mean, it just seemed, and you got a whole busload of pissed off passengers, and it made me late to the to the meeting to go pick the car up. And I'm like, shoot, I already been on the road for like 4 hours, going on 5 hours. And so this fool gets lost. But then I had to like check myself, because I remember the situations where I've been stopped or something, I've been delayed. I used to be real like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm late. They're making me late, or a situation's come about that I cannot control. And I first I felt some kind of way at first, but then I was like, you know what? I'll get there when I need to get there. And sure enough, 2 blocks from where the bus station was to drop us off at, there was a huge accident
Mm,
that, had we been on time, we probably would have been in the middle of
mm,
it. And I've had situations like that happen to me countless times, especially once I started to understand it, like the energy. Um, let's see, as a matter of fact, another situation when I went to go pick my son up, his mom was staying in Arizona at the time. We were driving back late. I was driving back late from picking him up, and we had just crossed back into the California border. And there was a sheriff that pulled me over on the side of the freeway. And that whole time, while I was driving for like probably the previous 100 miles, I was right next to this big semi, this 18-wheeler, and because it was like a 2-lane highway that we're going down coming back into Cali. And on that highway, it was myself in that truck, and I was riding right next to that truck the whole way for the previous 100 miles. And then the sheriff came and swooped up, and there was some cars that was all like around us, so we were all kind of riding in the convoy almost. We weren't together, but we just kind of just rolling together, the flow. And out of all the cars, he stops me, and I'm like, damn, okay. It's like, cause I'm like, it's dark as crap out here. So I'm like, it's not like he can tell that I was black or whatever. But I was like, maybe it's not because I'm black or whatever. But it ended up being one of the coolest interactions I've ever had with the officer in my life. And we
really?
just got to talking and stuff, um, and it was kind of weird. It was almost like he was delaying. And I
Hmm.
was like, because at first I was upset, because I'm like, man, I'm trying to get back home. It's like 12 in the morning or something. It was after midnight. And then he was like, and he kept saying, I stopped you because you were swerving. I was like, I wasn't swerving. What you talking about? And he was like, no. He was like, no, seriously, you were swerving. I was like, really? I was like, all right, I wasn't going to be combative with him. I was like, all right, well, whatever you say. you know. And then he was just like, yeah, as a matter of fact, make sure you stop at the next rest stop. And he kept he said it like a gazillion times. Make sure you stop at the next rest stop. It's about 15 miles up the road. He's like, look, I'm gonna let you go, but you need to promise me you're gonna stop. I was like, all right, cool. Like like he's like the homie or something. And sure enough, guess what happened when I got to the just before the exit, right after the exit at the rest stop.
What happened?
That 18 wheeler had caused a huge pile up across the freeway. And all them
Uh,
cars that was riding by right next to me and then behind me and right around me was all smashed up.
wow.
Just right after the rest stop.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was
So I'm
right
not
there.
gonna complain no more, man. I'm not gonna complain
Yeah. And
no
after
more.
that, I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm
I'm
good.
not gonna complain no more about not reaching my deadline on time. I'm like
Mhm.
remember when I was traveling when I was traveling out here to East Africa.
Yeah.
I got delayed in Istanbul, man. I was so hot. I had to buy another ticket and fly to Egypt just so I
Hmm.
can go into Kenya. Instead of getting that direct flight from Istanbul to Kenya, I had to pay for a whole nother ticket,
Yeah.
fly to Egypt and fly to Kenya. But here's the catcher: I would have never been to Egypt if I would have never done that. Not that
Right.
I want to pay an extra 800, but I would
Yeah.
have never got to enjoy Egypt
Hmm.
had I
Yeah.
not.
And that's for that reason. I always try to see the positive in every negative. I always try to see what the actual learning, what 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 was the lesson to be learned in that negative experience. And once
What
I
up,
started
Walter
adopting
Downey,
that,
man? I see you
spirit
out there,
started to
boy.
move for me in a whole different way. Because I didn't look at things as being good and bad. I just looked at it as, okay, am I in or out of alignment
Mm.
with my divine self, with spirit, with the Most High? And to the degree that I'm in alignment, everything is cool. But to the degree that I'm out of alignment, stuff starts going sideways. It
Mm.
happens every time.
So the moral of the story is, man, y'all got to be in alignment, man. You can't complain over the small. You can't complain over the things that you can't control.
Yeah, exactly.
Just accept it and focus on the solution anyway. Don't focus on the
Hmm.
problem.
And what
I
was the
like that.
lesson in it?
What was the lesson? I like that. So what
Yeah,
was the lesson in me getting delayed in Istanbul? Them. I don't want to say negative. Let me just stay positive.
yeah, but I
Let's
mean,
go back to the.
you
Let's
might
go
look
back to the
at
video.
like if you did some back
Now you
research
came
on
to
the other
Mumbai.
flight that you missed, you
Hmm.
might have found out it could have been a whole nother situation.
You probably right, man. Probably would have been a tight. I probably would have got into you never know, man. I probably would have sitting next to somebody rude in Egypt. Let me tell you something, man. Egypt, I got nothing but good things to say about Egypt Airlines. Okay,
Right.
the, the place where they set me, I had nothing but room and comfort. It was a pleasure trip. They took care of my
Hmm.
wheelchair. It didn't get messed up or lost like it normally does.
Right.
So I was happy. So you're right. They probably would have messed up somewhere down the line, and
Yeah.
I was being saved from that, even though I may not know what I was being saved from had I been
Hmm.
on that flight. So I agree with that
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. Again, I was in my hunter spirit while I was in Istanbul because I was determined to get to where I needed to be.
Right.
Nobody was gonna stop me from executing. If I
Hmm.
had to
Yeah, you
come
got to
out to
go get it.
Taki, if I had to sleep at the airport, which I did,
Hmm.
man, that's what I had to do. I was gonna make it to my destination. Nobody was gonna keep me from my baby.
Right.
That's what I knew.
That's
Nobody was
right.
gonna keep me
That's right.
from my baby. I was determined. So let's go back to this video, man, because we doing good. Hey, this brother's getting deep. He's educating me. You're educating me, man. We still talking. This is still Tantra Talk Thursday. We only an hour and a half into this, man. But we got some more to go. We got some more. While we got the guru here, we're gonna milk him for everything he got.
Bombay, Mumbai. I'm getting it right in your head so that you don't get into trouble. Suppose 1,000 years ago, you heard of Sadhguru in Coimbatore, but your heart is longing, you want to go. But Mumbai to Coimbatore walking and
Oh,
coming,
sad guru.
not a simple journey. If you venture, you don't know whether you'll again go back to Mumbai or not. You don't know what to expect on the way, you may never make it. So, you sit in Mumbai and, oh Sadhguru, please reach out to me. I cannot come, please. Now, if I felt like doing something to Atul, who's in Mumbai and incapable of coming to Coimbatore, then maybe I want to initiate him into Shambhavi in Mumbai. But Atul's mind runs all over the place. He sits down and he feels something when he thinks, oh, maybe I'm just imagining nonsense. His wife tells him, you going crazy, man. Somebody that you've not seen is doing something to you, shut up and go back to work. He's beginning to feel something, but his logic, his reason, the family tells him, don't be stupid. Then what Sadhguru will do is pick up a South Indian jasmine flower which cannot grow in Mumbai, and Atul is sitting like this, it fell into his hand. Now Atul, now he will sit ready for Shambhavi to be initiated, because one jasmine flower was delivered. But today, I would rather call you and say, come, or send somebody with a brochure and say, come and get it here. Or if I want to send you a jasmine flower, I'll use DHL.
Okay, what's he talking about right there? He's talking about somebody reaching out to him, but that can't go see him physically. But because they're in this meditative state, he can drop a flower in his lap. He can reach out to him. He can connect. Now, I remember you talking about using this orgasmic energy to reach far distances
Mm-hmm.
and line up. Is that what he's talking about? Where he's saying the modern way would be to use DHL. The modern way would be able to pick up the cell phone. But remember, back in I don't want to say the dark ages, but the earth before the modern medicine and the modern technology, we had the occult, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that what he's talking about there?
Yeah, technology has come into place to replace the occult sciences, and so then they make the occult, they vilify it to justify technology, the utilization or reliance on technology now.
So is that possible? What he's talking about? Obviously, it must be, but I got to hear it from you. Is
Yes, it's
that possible?
possible.
What he's talking about? Can you drop a flower that doesn't grow in Kenya here in my lap from where you're at?
I can't yet,
Yet.
yet. But when you
Okay.
look at, there's evidence of this type of stuff all over the place.
Let me tell you a
When,
story
when you
real
look
quick,
at the
man.
pyramids in Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
The stone that they used, I think it's the was it the Pyramid of Giza? Is that I believe it. I believe it's the Pyramid of Giza, but it came from somewhere that was like 3,000 miles away. How did it get
The
there?
stone.
Yeah, the stones that they used.
I thought they were making those stones out of straw.
Not that I'm aware of.
That's what the Bible says, right? They were making those stones out of straw. Moses, they were using straw, and then they took away the straw and said, make the stones without the straw, and they still were able to make the stone. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
I'm not familiar with that. I am familiar with the the stones that they used weren't indigenous to that land. So when we're
I,
talking about the occult sciences and how
so
things
I didn't
was
even
built,
know that the stone that they were. I didn't even know that the stone in Egypt is not indigenous to Egypt. Is that what you're telling me?
yes, that's what I'm
See,
saying.
I didn't know that.
And these
Well,
stones were thousands of pounds. How they move it?
true. So
They're like
what
they're
about the pyramids
slabs, they're
here?
huge slabs of stone. Like, how did it get there?
what about the pyramids that are here in Mexico and in Memphis, Tennessee, and what about those pyramids?
I'm not exactly familiar with their structure as far as how they were built or the materials. I hadn't looked into that, but just the fact that I was just giving those examples as evidence of things being in places that aren't indigenous to those areas. So how did they get there? You
Aliens,
know,
man,
yeah.
right?
So there's some knowledge that was that's either
Ancient
been
Samaritans.
yeah that's either been suppressed, which most likely it is, or there were civilizations that operated on levels, well, actually there were civilizations that operated on levels that we're trying to gain through or mimic through technology now.
Okay.
And so everything that you see technological wise was something that we did naturally back in the day. And in certain, occult sciences, we still do today. So when we talk about telepathy and stuff like that, to a certain degree, yeah, I have the ability to do things like that. You ever like have just like some lightweight type stuff? You ever be thinking about somebody and all of a sudden they call you?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
well
course.
that's the same thing.
I also had a crazy sister who used to lock herself in a dark room and sit in the corner and sing, "That's me in the corner. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion." I thought she was going crazy, and then she told me that that she astro projected and she was in India.
Yeah.
I used to think she was crazy. I still think she's crazy, but
No, she might have. I'm pretty. No, astral projection. That's real.
well, I don't know how she did it.
You ever
I don't
been
know
in
how
a
she
dream
did it.
where you able to control your dream?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
just function in a different dimension. That's all.
That's what they say. That remember, I think I tagged you on some things on
Hmm.
Facebook. I was tagging you on some things because I was like, this stuff made me think about what you were saying with Tantra.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Or my ex-wife, you remember Fatima? She used
Fatima.
to go into these deep dreams, and she come back with scars on her. And she said
Really?
she was having she got attacked in her dream, and she wake
Wow.
up literally. She was next to me. She wake up and have like scratches on her. Yeah.
Wow. Nah, see, man, I would have dreams. See, my dreams would, like, I still remember this dream, man. This dream was like, this dream actually led me to the church that I went to
Hmm.
after I got shot. I had a dream, man. In Rialto, there was this field that's now they turned it into a church and they turned it into a social security office. But there's this big old field, and in
Hmm.
this field, it was like this tall grass, but it wasn't grass. It was more like weeds,
Right.
and you can hear the snakes. You can hear the snakes, but you couldn't see the snake, but you can hear them.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, this path opened up.
Right.
This path, this narrow path. And hence when I say narrow path, like if you did not walk on this narrow path, you were gonna walk and get eaten by the snakes.
Right.
So this narrow path opened up, and I walked down this narrow path, and then I look up, and the clouds start forming into shapes and figures, and and just arms and eyeballs and heads. Like the cloud starts changing into the people. And as I looked up in the clouds, this man was throwing these arrows at me.
Hmm.
And these arrows, these golden arrows were turning into golden words. So they
Mm.
started turning into alphabets.
Right.
And they were spelling something. And he kept piercing me with these golden arrows that were actually words
Right.
that he was throwing at me from the sky.
Mm.
And all I remember is right where they built the church at. This, I don't want to say tornado, but it's hard to explain, but I felt the wind pick me up in the air
Right.
and I was flying or I was floating or I was being ascended, like I was being hailed by something. Something was calling me, and all I felt was the rush of wind going under my clothes. Like I had clothes on, but I felt the wind was picking me up, and I was flying so high that I felt the wind under my clothes, in my armpits, in my face, and it was so weird, and I was so scared. It's like at first I had no fear, but then all of a sudden I was like, "This is too much. Where the
Yeah,
hell am I going?" And I woke myself up,
yeah,
and I took that as a sign to go to this church that were right around the corner from my house. So that's how I started going to this church, because everything happened right where that church was being built,
right.
where that church was in this field. Not that I
Mm,
knew that that's what it was telling me. I just decided that's what I needed to do.
right.
This was a weird dream. I've never had a dream where the clouds started opening up and throwing golden arrows that turned into words, and then a tornado came and lifted me up off the ground. I was in the eye
Yeah,
of a tornado, and I'm just traveling to the top. So that
right.
was some good stuff, man.
Yeah. You know, it's a trip, man. Um, when you first turned on Sad Guru, I didn't realize how much he favors Osho now.
Hmm.
Like I immediately switched to Osho because I was just watching a video of Osho a couple days back, and the way his beard is favorite that, and I was like, wait, hold on, no, that's not Osho, that's Sad Guru. Kicking myself, like, okay,
But you know him, right? You know of
yeah, yeah,
Sad Guru, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I
Okay.
hadn't watched him in a few years now, though.
Okay.
About probably about a year and a half, almost 2 years. Yeah, I used to watch all the stuff back in the day. He's pretty straight though.
Okay. Okay.
He's pretty
Well, we'll
straight.
listen to a little bit more. He was to say we're probably not going to have time to finish this whole thing. It's like 15 minutes, but the
Hmm.
converse just off the little bit that he's saying, it's already getting deep.
Yeah, no,
So let's
Sad
hear a
Guru.
little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, I hadn't known him to really uh deal with tantra. I guess that's what threw me off. Yeah.
Man, I didn't know. I just searched this video on YouTube, man, and thought this was cool.
Hmm. No, I know him for just like basic life philosophies and stuff like that. But I
Hmm.
mean, I'm not surprised because I mean, tantra is at the root of everything. But I
Right.
just had never heard him speak on that before. But it's been a couple years removed. So
What do you think of Deepak Chopra?
oh, he's on point. The Taoist system is not is on point as well.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
there's so many different pathways to enlightenment. It's just it all boils down to what resonates with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
that's what it all boils down to. Like
Okay.
what you subscribe to. What you subscribe to, what you prescribe to, as far as like what works for you. What's in alignment with your spirit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so
Well,
I pull from everybody that
okay.
as long as they speaking, I pull from anything that speaks to the truth.
Yeah, man. I look at everything. I take everything with a grain of salt right now.
Hmm.
It's like a buffet. I take what I need off the plate and leave what I don't agree with or understand quite yet. I leave it on the plate.
Yeah, absolutely. And
But
for
I
me,
try to take it
and
and
what may
treat
be
it
true
with
for me
understanding.
may not be true for somebody else.
Yeah. Well,
The
you know
truth.
what, man. You know what, man. Not to go off on a tangent, but
What's up?
just to talk about this for right now. Let me just come close like this. Um, I'm really heartbroken, man, about people who 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 seem to be righteous, but
Hmm.
they got a deep dark monster that they're hiding. Like, how can somebody be so good or speak so well or have so much of a deep understanding, right?
Hmm.
But then they be hiding this deep dark secret that if anyone finds out, it's gonna mess up all the good that they've done. Like I used to like Benny Hinn,
That's
man. I feel
common.
like it is, it
It's
is.
part of
So
that whole duality thing.
I know, man, and it's crazy, man. So that's why I'm like, okay, like I just pick and choose the good that resonates with me. And the things that I don't necessarily agree with or that seem kind of funny, I have to be like, nah. Like one of the guys is Brother Polite, right? Brother Polite says a lot of things.
Ooh.
and that seem positive,
Oh,
that seem good, but I can't ascribe to everything that he says. So I'll just pick some of the good things that he says, and then I'm
yeah.
like, you know what, I can't follow this brother. You know, I can't follow him. You know, because there's some darkness, there's some untrustworthiness, there's some con going on, right? Then there's another brother that I like, but I don't like. His name is Jesse. Jesse, he has something called the Fallen State, and
I'm
he
not
talks
familiar
about
with him. Yeah.
just his name is Jesse. Let me just look him up real quick. But his show is called he has a show on YouTube called The Fallen State. But let me see if I can. Jesse Lee Peterson, right? He's a
Mm,
coon. You know, he's a coon. He has some weird beliefs, but he also says some things that are true. And
right.
now there's a big scandal that's coming out about him that he's trying to keep under wraps. But
Mm,
he's been caught, I don't know if it's proven, but they did like a thing on him where um where 21 which talks about alpha males and how to bring back the man and stuff like that. They're no longer allowing Jesse Lee Peterson on their platform because they have something about him grooming men.
oh, what?
Yeah, he's having these closet homosexual relationships, and
Oh, wow.
he tries to groom men. Now, it's ironic that they would say that because most people think he is a woman hater because he talks so down, so low about the woman and so high about the man. And then a lot of stuff I don't agree with what he says because he talks very, very negatively about black people, about black culture, especially black Americans. And
Mm,
he's like the great white hope, Donald Trump. And he's like, you know, white supremacy should rule over black people because they're smarter than us. No, he will actually say stuff
what?
like
He
that.
said that?
Yeah, like what is wrong with this brother? Like this brother will say, but he also says white men are weak, and that's why black people are taking white man stuff because you know they're gonna holler racism instead of the white man standing up and saying it's not racism. You know,
Mm,
he says weird stuff, but he also says some true stuff.
right.
Like when he talks about men being slut makers and women being sluts. I agree with that.
Mm,
I agree with that. When he talks about the men having to, you know, having to not put these women on a pedestal and they need to take their rightful places. I agree with that. But
mm-hmm,
then other stuff that he says, you know, even Shapiro, Ben Shapiro, there's a lot of things that Ben Shapiro says that I agree with. But
right.
when he gets to this white nationalist, white supremacist stuff, I gotta cut that brother off. Like, hey man, what are you talking about?
Right.
Benny Hinn is another one. As great a teacher as he is when it comes to the Bible, his healing stuff is a fake. It's a joke. It's not real. It's phony. It's fake. So I'm like, how can a man preach and have a great understanding of the Bible, but yet also be dark and fake and twisted?
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know? So
Well,
I
you
have
know,
this, you know, why can't you just be righteous, man? Why can't you just be righteous all the way through? Why does there have to be a deep, dark monster, a deep, dark secret that can and and, it's not like it's not like I cheated on my diet, you know, but I'm telling you to diet. You know, it's like some 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 stuff that can make people turn you off for good. You know, why did it have to be like that? You know, one of Brother Polite's teachers, you know, one of Brother Polite's teachers that everybody looked up to like he was a god, like he was God on earth, is in jail serving time because he was doing some, you know, I don't want to say it on the platform, but he was doing
stuff.
some crazy stuff
Yeah.
that some mind control manipulating stuff that only somebody in an occult can do and in the position and power that he's in. But
Right.
yet Black Light will say, this man taught me everything I know, and I can't ever go against him. And then lo and behold, he gets caught and goes to jail for the same exact thing. And then he gets out. And now he's a free man. and moving around. So I don't know, man. That's the issue I have, man. Like, what is
Yeah.
it with people who seem to preach righteousness and preach good, but there's also this darkness that follows them with them wherever they go.
Well, to speak to that,
I just don't get.
everything everything in life is about balance.
Okay.
So when you look at somebody that's just so far up here in the upper echelon of greatness, right? And they seem like they're up on this pedestal, like almost like holier than thou. When we spoke about from the darkness comes the light, if they're so far, to the right, something's got to bring them back to the left to be in the center. So a lot of times, the reason, like say for instance, with myself, I came from some pretty dark spaces, in dealing with my mother. And so why do I have a women's wellness center? Why do I even focus on dealing with, why do I have a heart to do what I do, and helping women that have similar challenges that my mother did? Is because of what my mother did to me. So from that darkness comes the light that I shed across the world now. So when you look at some of these other individuals and you look at whatever the motivation was, how do
So
they sleep at night? Do they sleep? If they do sleep at night, it's because they're trying to balance out their demons or
so
exercise these demons.
so let's talk about that. I don't know if you heard about this white pastor. I can't remember his name, but he was pastor in this church for over 20 years, and
Mm-hmm.
lo and behold, they they catch him, or lo and behold, he has to, while he's admitting what he did, his the person he supposedly abused, or his accuser, jumps on stage with the mic and says, "Man, I was 16 years old when you did this to me."
I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying you look at the motivations behind the things why some people do what they do.
But check it out, the church was still behind that guy
Yeah,
because I guess he's helped a lot of people and done so much that even though he was stepping down in a and resigning because of a sin that came back to get him to bite him,
hmm
people were still wanting him to stay there and pastor the church.
no, I have no respect for situations like that because that's abuse of your power. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I'm talking
But
about.
at the same time,
You hear
there's
about
a
people
fine,
who
there's
raised
a
up so
fine.
high
But I understand why people do it.
because they
I'm not
can.
saying it's right, but I understand why it happens. It's because of the space that they're operating from. Because the same information can be used for good as it can be for bad. They can utilize that to cover their tracks, or they can utilize, the influence of the stage they have to do some, phenomenal things in the community.
So, is there any righteous man out there?
Yeah,
Is there
it's
any
plenty.
righteous man out there that can rise to those levels and not sin
Yeah.
and not fall prey to it
I
and
mean,
stay disciplined
that's what Star Wars is all
as
about.
they practice what they preach? Go ahead.
Star Wars is the absolute depiction of what that's all about.
Star Wars,
Star Wars, the Force.
the Force
Yeah.
be with you,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and the dark side and the light
It can
side.
be used for darkness or it can be used for the light. It just depends on, can you, are you get, people get seduced by it
Mm.
because of that power that they have. And they can utilize that power for good, for to do the right thing or do the wrong. They can use it to benefit people, they can use it to hurt and control people. We all have
So, with great
choices in this
power
shit.
comes great responsibility, but also
Absolutely.
with great power comes great manipulation.
Uh-huh. And so it depends on the individual. How spiritually grounded are they? So if they out there, it's easy to get pulled to the other side. You start making these moves in life, and then all of a sudden, you start gaining some level of notoriety, and all of a sudden, every time you look around, you got individuals trying to, women's coming at you left and right. You gonna, give into that to the point, and you got a family at home. You hear it all the time. Or they got people that are in prominent positions of power. You know how many politicians get busted getting paid off, taking payouts because they have the opportunity to make some decisions that's gonna make some major corporations some major paper.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so with great power comes great responsibility. And the thing is, it's easy to be seduced and brought over to the other side. It happens all the time. But then you got a whole lot of
Right.
folks that they're spiritual. That's the importance of being spiritually grounded. To the degree that you're spiritually grounded, now you can grow and rise above that because none of these worldly stuff even means anything to you. Because the value that and the thing is, a lot of times when you talk about, are you familiar with the Tree of Life by
Of course.
Rodman?
Oh no, 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 no,
The Society, yeah, Society. That's something to look up. But he speaks of the inferior man's superior man and divine man. And most of these individuals that you're referring to, they're inferior men. So when they get a taste of that power, they switch up and start doing all kind of. That's where all that dark
no.
stuff comes from.
So how are these inferior men rising so high in height to where other men are not looked? I mean, why are we seeing them in the limelight and not somebody who is righteous 100%?
Well, shoot, inferior. Look at society today. Do you think a divine person runs society
No,
that we live in?
no.
We got wars all over the place, scarcity, famine, all kind of stuff. So when you look at that, who's in control? Is it a divine individual, a superior individual that's in control? Nah,
A superior may no, a superior maybe, but not divine.
because the divine,
Someone with
everything is good. Divine individuals function in an abundance mindset and in an abundance way of being.
excuse me. Well,
You
here's how I
got,
look at it. Here's
mhm,
how I look at it. I mean, there is a group of smart people
yeah,
running the world,
inferior
but
doesn't
they're
necessarily
not
mean stupid.
okay. Okay.
No, inferior means your mentality and your approach, the way that you move throughout life.
Narcissistic.
Inferior means that you're not divine. You're not operating in your God nature. You're operating from a reptilian mindset.
Uh-oh. Don't talk about them on the uh-oh. Uh-oh. I know what you're talking. I know where you're getting at.
Yeah, and so there's a mentality that comes with that.
So that's the dark side.
Yeah, because they get that power, and what do?
Mm.
They tear up
So it
everything
is.
in
So it
sight.
is Star Wars. Star Wars is a autobiography, not a science fiction. It's nonfiction, huh?
Oh no, they took them stories from back in the day, and they just George Lucas got a hold of, tapped into some pyramids and some
George,
ancient
matter of fact,
stories.
George Lucas's wife, man, is about to be a partial owner of the NFL team, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you know, George Lucas' wife is black, is an African American woman.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, George Lucas's wife is she's a CEO. She's very well accomplished, and now she's about to be part owner, the first black partial owner of an NFL team.
Wow. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised because of the way he was tapped in with the, in the production of those films and even recognizing the science behind what he was doing and making a theatrical version of that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
because
so man, we about to close it up
those are
real
ancient
quick.
comedic stories that
Okay.
they're moving into that space.
Okay, so we about to wrap it up real quick, man. But I want to give you always I want to give you the final words, man. But I'm gonna lead in with the question: how do we unleash our master masculine? How do we unleash it? How do we walk in it? How do we thrive in it?
Number one is we have to remove that pain body collar, that scarcity mentality.
Pain body
Because
collar.
once you clear that, then it opens your ability to bring your archetypes online to become your divine self and
And
to live
mention the
your best
archetypes
life.
real quick again. Mention the four
And the
archetypes
four
again.
archetypes is laid out in Master Yao's Awakening the Master Masculine, and for women, Awakening the Master Feminine. Or for the men is the eagle, the healer, the warrior, and the hunter. And then
And
for
we
the
need to be
women,
all four, right? We need to be all four to be in
you got to have
alignment.
all four, at least
Okay.
two strongly, and working on the other two.
Okay.
But definitely, once you have all four, I have a good handle on all four, and you can flip and switch seamlessly between all four, and then start to combine them into one. Now you're moving into your God state.
Okay. Now, real
Hmm.
quick, are the archetypes got to be different for the feminine, right? So
Yes.
mention the feminine archetypes, and that's what we'll kind of lead into for the next Tantra Talk Thursday.
Okay. For the women, they have the moon. They
Moon,
have the elegant rose.
the elegant rose,
They have the seated hawk
the seated hawk,
and the treasure chest.
the treasure chest. Can you describe them each real quick for us?
Okay. So the moon energy, that's the motherly energy. That's
Motherly
the
energy,
yeah, that unconditional love, that that maternal instinct that
maternal.
women have.
Okay.
That that the moon energy, that's the mama that shows up. They sons on death row for committing mass murder, and she's like, "No,
Mass
I
murder.
believe in my baby."
That's
That's
my
the moon
baby.
energy. No,
Okay. Okay.
no matter what,
Right.
you be like, "Your son's a killer." What you mean? It's like,
Exactly. Like that.
no, my
You need to
Junior
death.
wouldn't have did that. No matter
Right.
what. Because if don't
Right.
nobody love you, your mama gonna love you.
Right.
Ah, and then the treasure chest energy. Uh, well, I'll go with the seated hawk. That's the counter to the eagle. The moon energy is the counter to the healer,
Okay.
the men. The seated hawk. You ever seen that movie, The Scorpion King?
Yep.
Okay. And remember the sorceress?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's the most important person within society because her intuitive abilities, which all women actually have naturally, they just shut it off for whatever. Well, actually, it's a number of.
So what you're trying to say is I need to listen to my wife when she says I feel like everything's gonna work out this time. That's her intuitiveness. So I need to
That's
listen to
it.
that. I need to tap into that.
Yeah.
So I got a good one in. When she says she feel, I need to just trust that.
Yep. Because women
Okay.
see stuff that no matter how
You hear
we
that,
have a
sweetheart?
plan, and we're
He's
operating
saying
from
I need
a
to
standpoint of logic.
he's saying I need to trust in your intuitiveness when you say you feel like something's happening. That's you tapping into your femininity, and I need to just trust
Roll
that.
with it. Yeah.
Roll with it.
Because
Mm,
9 times out of 10, especially if your woman's just on point in general, like especially like yours is, you can
uh,
trust that.
so I can trust her when she says I feel like everything's gonna be all right.
Hmm.
Because I like to
Because
know. I don't like the way I hate that word feeling, but she likes to. She says, you know what? I feel like this is gonna be. I'm like, are you sure? How do you know? Are you guessing?
women are
They
tapped into
tap
the
into
mother,
that
Mother
intuitive
Earth.
Mother Earth. Okay.
Yeah, they
All right.
tapped
Let me
in.
let her be feminine in. Let me just go with it.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And
Okay. The
then
seated hawk. And what's the other one?
you have the elegant rose and the treasure chest.
Elegant rose. What is the
So
elegant
the
rose?
elegant rose is a. You ever run across those sisters that, well, here in Western society, well, shoot, your wife. She got that on deck like it ain't no tomorrow. That desire to be pleasing,
Mm.
to like she has a joy in giving
Yeah. Like
without
she.
losing herself in the midst of giving.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the elegant rose. That desire to bring pleasure, especially to the mate.
That's that
but just
traditional
in
woman.
general.
That
Like,
traditional woman.
yes, yeah, and that's what I when you talk about Kevin Samuels,
Agreeableness.
when his the whole platform when they talk about the whole modern women, that it comes
Mm,
from awakening the master feminine, because he's
okay.
talking about how he knows all this stuff exists is because it's outlined in the book.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we talk about the whole manosphere that comes from Master Yao's writing.
Okay.
And so they just take the negative aspect of it and focus on that
So
because it
when
speaks
can we
on the
get
positive
Master
and negative
Yao on the
aspects of it.
platform? When can we get Master Yao on the platform?
That's coming. That's
He's
coming.
coming. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
coming. Yeah, because
Okay.
he's going through changing over the system. Well, not changing the system, but just changing the platform to make
Okay.
it to update everything and whatnot as
I
far
would
as like the
love to pick
delivery.
his brain. I would love to invite him on the platform, you and him, and y'all just
Oh
teach
yeah.
us, man.
Oh yeah, Master.
Enlighten us.
Yeah, that's man, he saved my life, man. He literally he brought me from the darkest, deepest part situation in my life, man. His teachings, man. That really is a true testament to the power of Tantra, man. Because it took me from nothing to, I mean, not that I'm all that, but I'm in a space where life is great. I'm loving life. I feel everything orgasmically. Life is I can't even put into words. How good it feels to wake up every morning. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
So tell us about the treasure, the last one, and then we're gonna close it out. The treasure. What is the
The
treasure
treasure
hunter?
chest is equivalent
Treasure
to the
chest.
hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically that's a woman's ability to to manifest.
To
Well,
multiply what the man brings to him.
there you hit the nail on the head. If you give
Mm.
her, if you give her, what is that? You give her a house, she makes it a home.
She makes a home. Yeah.
You give her your plan, she manifests it into an empire.
See, this is what I believe. This is what I believe that women cannot manifest anything without a man.
Well, the
They
man
need
sowed
a
the seed.
man in order to manifest. I believe all this manifestation that these women love to hear and love to think they're operating in, that's cool, but you'll never get the highest form if you don't have the man, if you don't have the role and the man in place.
Yeah, because the man
Instead of
plants
these
the
women
seed and the
trying
woman
to,
grows it.
yeah, instead of the woman trying to X out the man, she needs to be working with the
Mhm.
man in order to manifest what she wants. The
Yeah,
problem is that she's trying to manifest her own thoughts, her own ability, instead of trying to manifest what the man is bringing to the table.
yeah, that's the masculine way of being.
Mm, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
and so with that, when you look at like how that plays out, like men can manifest in their own, women can manifest in their own, but there's gonna be limits to it.
Right.
You only gonna go. There's levels to everything,
Right. I
and
agree.
then also when we talk about just being in divine alignment, you need both sides in order to make that happen and take it to the next level. Because just like say for instance, when you look at I mentioned the movie The Scorpion King, right, and
Hmm.
the sorcerers, the way that they were able to conquer these different lands or go into different wars was the sorcerers would channel the actual event, and then she could determine whether they should go or not. And without her, they went in blind.
So women are oracles.
Yes, naturally.
Women are oracles,
Yeah,
and
and the thing
the
is,
way they work is
they
they need the vision of the man so they can so they can make it clear,
yeah,
right?
yeah, because basically women clarify everything.
Okay. I'm with that, man. Modern women, if y'all just don't get your act together and come back over to us, we can work together. We can do something. But if y'all keep trying to do that single mother stuff and the independent stuff, y'all gonna die on that plane.
We'll
Y'all
see.
gonna die on that field.
That's the flip side, bro. People gonna be who they gonna be.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this:
And,
there's
and
more
so no,
women
no. What
than
I'm
there are
saying,
men.
what I'm speaking to is there's a whole lot of women out there that don't flow like that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah, there's
so
a
there's a
whole lot
lot
that don't
more
go that way.
women than there are men. So so men are gonna get they gonna find they right when those women that don't want to get in line, they
Uh-huh.
they gonna die on that hill alone. But
Yeah,
those women
and it's about
that are
choice.
yeah, and it's choice. They choosing that. But then
Hmm.
those women that are able to see, wake up, and acknowledge the fact they need a man, and that their power can only work can only grow so big. See, in chess, there's the king and the queen. The queen has a
Hmm.
lot. It seems like the queen has a lot more power than the king,
Yeah.
but she really doesn't. The thing about the king is the king takes less steps because his steps are more calculated.
Hmm.
The queen takes more steps because her steps are not as calculated. They're just wide. They're just far, and they kill everything in its path. But that don't mean that it's supposed to do that because you can lose your queen that way.
Right.
If you lose the queen too much, she gonna die.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
But
fact.
but the queen only works while she's protecting the king.
Right.
So we got to do a talk on that too real soon, man, because that's another deep topic in itself. What you just touched on right now
Hmm.
can heal a lot of men and
Yeah.
definitely heal a lot of women.
Word. Word.
And if they understood that balance, see that manifestation, I look at it like it's a bad word, but it's not a bad word. It's how you use it. It's how you
Hmm.
operate in that manifestation. It's who's manifesting what. It's whose vision are you manifesting your own vision? Or are you manifesting the vision that the man gave to you? That the leader of the home
Well,
gave.
the gist of it is it needs to be a joint vision. Would y'all agree upon that y'all want to procreate?
Okay.
Yeah, because then that's the thing is she in alignment with the vision that he wants to that he
Most women aren't. Modern women are not in alignment with the vision of the man. They don't believe that the man can lead. Especially the black men, especially the modern black women versus the modern
yeah,
black man. The
and
modern black
so
women do not feel that the black man is capable of leading. They will rather follow a Asian, a Hispanic, a white man more than they would follow a black man. And they are fighting the vision of the black man today. They are going against. Matter of fact, they are sabotaging. They are literally sabotaging on purpose anything that he does just so they can have an "I told you so" conversation with him later on.
yeah, but those are the women you want to steer clear of.
Those are definitely the women. Those are the
I mean,
masculine men we're
at
talking
some
about.
point though, I mean, most of my clients are those type of women, or what
Mm,
you consider modern women
modern women.
that realize that there's some flaws, that there's some challenges that they're waking up to the understanding that the understanding that there's something wrong that needs to be
Let me
corrected.
tell you the vision that I see right now. I see us standing before a crowd of people
Uh-huh.
doing a lecture on this very thing.
Oh yeah.
I literally see us on stage. I'm talking my part and you cleaning up the mess. You just you
Word.
just coming in like, okay, this is what this is what he said. This is he's saying it harsh, but this is what he's really saying. That's what I see right
Yeah,
now.
no, I'm with it.
So
Yeah, 'cause I mean, this
we gotta
information, yeah, because people need to come to the understanding and the knowing, but just
mm,
understand that people wake up in their own time if they decide to.
see. My
Because
thing
a
is
lot of
no, wake
folks
up
they
now.
so
See,
deep.
that's when you come in
Because
to
when we
clean up.
talk
I'm gonna
about
be
the
like, wake up
counterfeit,
now.
we talk about the counterfeit persona,
Hmm.
that version of modern women that you speak to, from the negative aspects of them, that's the counterfeit personality. That's not how they naturally came into this world. We all come into this world being in our full divine state. And then because of societal reasons, from trauma, most of it comes from trauma. But just the way we were raised, the way our parents brought us up and stuff like that, things we're exposed to, hurt, as teenagers, being, not readily received by the opposite sex when we hit puberty and stuff like that. these counterfeit personalities develop, or being told that, in order for a woman to compete, in the working
She
world,
has
that
to
she
be
has,
masculine.
yeah, she has to become masculine, which is the dumbest thing ever,
Mm,
ever, 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 ever. Because a woman that's
mm.
got her treasure chest on point, and she got her seated heart on point, and
And she
she
got
goes,
an elegant rose on point.
oh man, she go up
Come
in the
on,
football
man.
club and have all them dudes wrapped around her finger.
Our finger.
But she,
Her.
but she thinks she got to be a man to go in there and compete. Oh, they're not gonna take me seriously. No, you got
Mm.
to be in your divine feminine nature.
All
Man,
right, brother. It's set up, man. We gonna start a Patreon real soon, man, and we gonna start speaking of this. We gonna take this
man,
off. We gonna take this off of YouTube and put it on the Patreon and make them pay for this because this is that good. This is that stuff right here. This is that deep, man.
yeah,
Man, you if do you understand how many women you can help and impact and just if you are able to articulate it in a way that they will receive it and not take offense. See, they're gonna take offense to what I say.
yeah.
But if
Well,
you're able to package it in a way to where they can receive it and not take offense to it, man, it's like a breakthrough.
yeah. And so for the women that are in the mild stage, counterfeit personality, and
I'm studying tantra when I get back to the States, my brother.
oh yeah,
I'm letting you know
no,
right
you
now.
got to,
I'm on
man.
it. I'm
The
on it.
thing
I'm on
is,
it.
it's a way of being. It's a way of tapping into your divine nature. It's as natural as getting up and opening your eyes in the morning. An understanding or understanding that it even exists, because that knowledge was I want to say it was lost, but it was suppressed for years. Because if you're able to control people, what's the easiest way to control people? Is to suppress them sexually, suppress their sexual energy. Now you can control them, because now, when you look, especially when you look at the writings of William Wright, he was like the pioneer in modern times in that space. He broke it down as far as, like, when we talk about like mental illness and stuff like that. It all stems from suppression of our sexuality, sexual suppression. When we talk about the basic, just physical ailments, it all stems from that as well. According to his writings, everything that we look at from an illness standpoint stems from sexual suppression. I won't say everything, but I say a whole hell of a lot. When you look at the challenges that people have today, because when you're not sexually free, now that doesn't mean being sexually promiscuous, no, but sexually free, where your energy is flowing, where you're existing in your godlike nature. Who's gonna control you? Who you gonna answer to if you God? Who does God answer to?
Mm.
No one. And if you're living in your godlike nature, that means you're living in your divine, being your divine self. And if you're being your divine self, you're not out here trying to get over on folks. You trying to leave your mark to make the world better than it was the day before. So all that policing and stuff comes from dealing with people that are inferior. That's why the laws come into play from.
So quick question.
Yeah.
How do you keep the monster in check so you can follow your purpose?
You mean within ourselves? Max, you there? Looks like you froze, fam.
Yeah, we coming back in. It's probably the internet.
Oh,
It's
okay.
probably the internet here. Go ahead. We back.
Now, you said the monster within ourselves, or where?
Yeah. Like you said, there's that balance, that balance of dark and light, that good and evil. How do
Mm-hmm.
you how do you how do you keep that in check while you're walking in your divinity? How do you not take advantage of the very people that you're trying to help because you can?
Because you can, yeah, you can. Oh, you freezing up, but I'll speak to it anyway. Um, that's about raising your vibration and connecting with the Most High. That's about opening your heart because when your heart is open, when you have it, when you're able to love freely, when you're operating from a standpoint of love, everything that you do is becomes divine after that. And so when because in order to get to your higher chakras, in order to connect with the Most High, you got to pass the heart. The heart is the gatekeeper between your upper and lower chakras.
Mm.
We all
Okay.
come with the bottom three chakras on, not necessarily online, but our lower nature is intact. So any inferior person can operate within their lower chakras. The divine and superior man, it operates from the heart up,
Okay.
and the divine man operates from the crown and beyond.
Okay.
Yeah, when you look at the tree of life and the deities on the tree of life, you have the three lower ones, then you have the three in the middle, and those are where the Ba, or actually say admin, exists within. The superior man exists in.
Okay.
And so it's a matter of moving into our higher nature. And I mean, everybody's got a past to some extent or another, some more darker than others. But the gist of it is you can't let that past, I mean, that's who you are. That's a piece of like who you are today is who you've been your entire life. But you can't sit there and ride in that and let that stop you, inhibit your ability to elevate your consciousness to a higher level. And so I don't have to be who I was yesterday. And everything's about choice. But yeah, can you get seduced by the dark side, as they say in Star Wars? Absolutely. But it just boils down to your heart. Your heart is what's really, because when you look at when you talk about when they had the newer episodes of Star Wars, right? And they start talking about Anakin Skywalker, how Darth Vader was made, basically. What was it that took him to the other side? His broken heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his lust for power and
Uh-huh.
his hunter mentality because he wanted to win all the time.
Yep.
And that was the thing that was leading him and driving him. And he thought,
Uh-huh.
hey man, you can't defeat your enemy if you're weak,
Yeah.
if you have any
And,
weaknesses, if
and
you
then
have
that
a good
hate,
heart.
yeah,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so you saw
Narcissism.
how he was made, but that
Yeah.
speaks to it. And so if your heart ain't open, your heart is closed, it's gonna limit your ability because the heart is the gatekeeper to your upper chakras, your higher levels of elevation. That's why I say that heart is everything, man.
Mm,
Yeah. Now your gut will get you where you need to go, to a certain level, but it's not going to help you to ascend.
it's only going to keep you safe for a small for meantime
It keeps you in survival mode.
survival mode. That's
Yeah.
true. Those are survival instincts that the gut has.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And so, yeah, when it comes to like fight or flight, situations, your gut, you need to have that because that's
You
what you
need that
tap
gut.
into. Your
Yeah.
soul, that's what's going to get you to move and do what you got to do. Whether you're going to fight or get down or you're going to get on. That gut's going to tell you that.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we got to wrap this up, but this is good stuff, man. We got to continue. Next week is going to be off the chain. Matter of fact, actually, next week, we might have we can we do a Wednesday?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, because
Oh, hey, let's do
Thursday I'm
Tuesday.
flying out.
Let's do
Thursday
Tuesday.
or two. Okay, let's do Tuesday. Let's do
Yeah,
Tuesday. Yeah, let's do Tuesday because
yeah, because we
Thursday
got
I'm on.
we got karate practice on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
and
do
it's
Tuesday,
like a 4. So yeah,
Tantra Talk Tuesday or Tantra Tuesday, whatever we're gonna call it.
yeah, it'd be Tantra
Thursday,
Tuesday.
I'm flying back to the States. I'll be back in the States July 1st.
Okay, word.
So I'll
Okay.
be out. I'll be back out. I won't be in East Africa anymore. I'll be back in the States. So let's do. We got to continue this next Tuesday. Let's not forget where we left off at. Let's continue the the YouTube with Sun Guru, and let's also jump into what we were talking about with this manifestation thing. We got to go deep into the manifestation
Word. Oh yeah,
because everybody loves to think they manifest in everything. Oh, manifest. Oh, if I believe positive, we gotta go. We gotta break this down so people know how it works,
Mm-hmm.
how to
Now,
operate
keeping
in it.
it, we're always manifesting our reality with the dominant thoughts that we have individually.
Okay.
But when you're talking about like really going deep on some making things materialize in a major way, there's no greater way to make that happen. That can happen in an instant, between
Well,
a
the
man and a
Bible
woman.
said it like this: when two or more touch and agree
Hmm.
on anything, it
Yes.
shall come. It shall be manifested or come to pass.
Yeah, you can
So
make it
we know
happen
about
instantly.
that man and that woman bond is so strong. If they can just touch and agree,
Hmm.
if they can come into agreement, if the man and woman can come into agreement, and then that third person come into agreement, it's game over.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to manifest it on your own, modern
Yeah.
woman, you need to be trying to manifest it with your man, getting y'all to see. I like having Jeffrey on here, man, because he legitimizes me because I don't look like such a male chauvinist or a sexist when he's on. Because
Mm.
there's some understanding that he can bring into it, that what I'm trying to say and what you're not hearing. What I'm trying to say and what you're not hearing. This is where this brother can come in and help clean it up a little bit because he has that 8 years of experience in Tantra. I know nothing about Tantra. I just know what I know and what my father taught me and what I've learned through life lessons, and it is what it is. And it's helped me get this far.
Well,
You know,
it's a yin and yang approach.
yes, it is. I'm gonna be a little harsh, but even though I don't mean to be, it's not that I'm choosing to be. That's the only way I know how to get the message out.
No,
But
I
this
get it.
brother,
I totally
he
get
has
it.
an understanding in a way to where he can say, but my thing is let the man lead, let him do his thing, and you just follow. But he has another spin on that I can't disagree with.
Hmm.
I can't disagree with it because it makes sense. Because my logic is and my gut's telling me, nah,
And the
man, he's
thing
on
is,
to
I mean,
something.
I flow with that, and
Yeah,
that's the way that it exists in my household. But at the same time, when you look at, we got to be men that are worthy of being fathered.
that's true. I know. That's why I said you got it. That's why I say men, you have to
Hmm.
know who you are so you can find your purpose early.
Because yeah, exactly.
That's the
Because
only
once
way
you
you're
lock
gonna
in
win.
on you and you sure about who you are, like you just
Yeah,
said, now
man.
you become that leader that a woman can
Exactly.
submit to.
See, I like to say it all the time, and people, even my wife sometimes get mad at me, but I say it all the time. I'm righteous. I'm righteous. I'm righteous.
Hmm.
I'm righteous. If anybody you can trust, I'm righteous.
Right,
I done dealt with my demons. I done kill. I done slayed my monsters. Okay,
right.
I'm righteous. I don't have to be right all the time. I know that I'm not perfect,
But you operate from a good place. I
but
got
I'm
you.
coming. Yes, I'm coming because my intentions are clear. I speak my intentions. I walk in my intentions. My intentions are me. There's
Right,
no manipulation. There's no malice. There's no disguise here. What you see is what you're gonna get. And if you talk to me long enough, I'm gonna make you understand where I'm coming from.
right.
You
Word.
can judge me from afar and say, I'm not gonna listen to me, and that's okay. You can shut me off. But if you ever sit down and talk to me long enough, I'm gonna bring you over to the dark side.
Right.
Believe it or not, I'm gonna bring you over here because I know
Right.
what I'm saying and I know who I am. I
Respect.
have the conviction, I have the charisma, I understand. I really
Yeah.
do. That's
And
why
I've
like
always
that's why
respected that
that's why
about
me and you can rap Man, that's why me and you can rap, man, because even some of the stuff you're saying that I can't fully embrace, I can't embrace it because I know you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's
And that
different.
goes both ways.
Yeah,
It
I
goes
can
both
embrace
ways.
it because I know you.
Right.
If I didn't know you, I'd be like, oh man, you can't listen to this dude, man. But I know him and I know where he's coming from. I'm like, okay, but he's coming with logic. He's making sense. Game. Remember that saying, game recognizes game.
Absolutely.
Truth recognizes truth. I have
Absolutely.
discernment. Okay, I really have discernment. I got it from my dad, so I know when somebody's spitting out some bullshit and when they're going somewhere with this.
Right. Word.
Like I said, I may not have the words always to articulate in a soft way, but I
Hmm.
know but I know people who do,
Right.
and that's all that matters. If you listen to me long enough, you're gonna come over to this side.
That's
You
what's
you don't have
up.
to agree with everything I say, but you're gonna be like, okay, this brother is coming from a good place. He means well. His intentions are pure,
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
that's where it's at. Hey man, we're gonna wrap it up on that, man. This is the Too Much Moxie podcast, man. We have our very own guru.
Man,
I
I
am
ain't no guru, man.
from
I'm
Quantum
just
Wellness Ministries, man. We got our very own man. Hey, I don't know about y'all, but we got the best people on this podcast, on this network, on this YouTube channel, man. We got people like Walter Down, and we got people like I Am Jeffrey, man. We got some good brothers that can help y'all in your life. Help not just men, but help the women also. If you don't want to be a model woman no more, this is the channel you want to come to. If you want to start getting your chakra aligned, you got to go over to Quantum Wellness Ministries, and I'm gonna point you to that path. If you need some couples counseling, you need to wrap it up with my boy Walter Downing, man, because he's gonna give you some fair advice. Not just one-sided, but some fair sided, some even sided advice. Now you come to me, I'm just gonna cut you. And these brothers are gonna heal you. Okay. You come to me, I'm gonna
straight
cut
no
you because I'm
chaser.
gonna hold you accountable first. I'm gonna make you deal with your demons first. But these brothers is gonna show you how to slay the demon.
Right.
And that's where we
Too
at.
much moxie, straight no
Too much
chaser.
moxie. That's it. Too much moxie. We own it. We own it. So with that being said, man, hey, man, you're always welcome on the platform, man. Thank you for talking to the community.
I
Thank you for putting
appreciate
us
you,
on
brother.
game about this Tantra. Man, I am a follower of Tantra now because of you, brother. I'm about to start jumping into the divine masculine, the master masculine. I'm gonna jump in on the divine feminine, whatever. I'm about to understand these archetypes and these counterfeit. What do you call them? Counterfeit
Persona? Yeah.
personas. I'm about to really
Because that's the
understand
number one thing is the counterfeit persona. Once you deal with that, then everything else is easy.
and check this out. When I understand that,
Mm-hmm.
too much Moxie is gonna be even on another level, man.
Right
We
now.
just operate on another level, man.
That's right.
It's on. So just so y'all know, quickly, man. We reached 2,000 subscribers and we lost 300. Now we're back at 2,002 subscribers. So that's how the magic works. That's how we manifest here. We are on the road to 10,000 followers. We want to hit 10,000 followers before the end of 2022. I think we can do it. I think we can probably get to 30,000 before the end of 2022. But we on the road to 10,000 right now. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Y'all do me a favor. If y'all really love this show, y'all really rocking with me, make sure y'all go over to I Am Jeffrey's page. Make sure y'all hit up the Quantum Wellness Ministries YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. Watch those
Bless
videos.
you,
Brother is kicking knowledge, man. If y'all don't get that, hey, if y'all don't get that knowledge, I'm selfish. I'll take it for myself. You see how I'm getting a session right now for free from this brother just by bringing him on the show. So I'm milking it for everything I got.
sir.
I'm pulling on the hem of his garment and I'm pulling that anointing out of him and I'm taking it for myself. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm with it. If I hear knowledge, if I hear power, if I hear something that's going to help me get to the next level, I am humble enough to be like, let me just listen right now because I'm gonna learn something. And I hope you guys are doing it too. So with that being said, man, again, uh, thank you for coming out, Jeffrey. Thank you for speaking to the community. This is the Too Much Moxie podcast, and we are out.
Blessings,
Peace
brother.
and blessings, man.
Uh,
Take care.
one.